Hello and welcome to the Gory Hole. I'm Gory B Movie.
I'm Danny Knightmare.
And we have a very special guest today.
Oh, yeah, it's me. Okay. The introduction. Slasher in Suits, one of the 5 top kill counters on YouTube, probably top 10. I don't know. Kill counters on YouTube. Sure. Hey, nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
Nice to have you here. I'm very excited. This was his idea. We're going to do tag teams. So if you're a wrestling fan, you know how tag team things works. Like ours is not going to follow the rules. We're just going to throw everybody in the ring at once and watch the chaos from the sidelines while we eat popcorn, because that's what we do. You guys know Danny Knightmare, my husband.
I'm on Horror Addicts
Resident slasher in this household over on Horror Addicts. The links for both these gentlemen are in that description below. Let's say hi to some people in the chat, and then we're just gonna get started, guys. It's gonna be awesome. We got some awesome people here. Horror Collector Fiend, nice to see you. Jason Rushman, and hey, I saw that Jason Evans has joined the B Movie Coven, my membership here on YouTube. I'm very excited about that, and I have a very special thank you for you. Stay tuned because we've got some fun watch parties and awesome membership things coming up. You can always join the B Movie Coven on Patreon or here over on YouTube. I made some new clips today. They're pretty rad.
Nice. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. They were like belly bumping.
Yeah, dude. Those are Ghosts and Minnie the Moocher, like the best Betty Boop cartoon.
I like their hats.
We got Afro Whale, Cal-El, Now It's Dark. My girl Denisha is here. Alejandro is here. Awesome people in the chat. Oh, and let's not forget Wayne Turner and my friend Kevin from Haunted by Horror. Oh, not also Ariel Mendez. We got a big crew here today. We got another B Kevin member. Jaden is here. Mr. Flickster. Big crew. Awesome. You guys. Oh, and the PR Movie Elite. What is up? Let's just jump into this. So I'm doing things a little differently. So you guys don't have to listen to me like read a slide. I just have pictures. And then the three of us are just going to just jump in with all of our collective movie knowledge and research. So let's see how it works, right?
Yes, let's get ready to rumble.
Oh, and before we get started, I'm going to show you guys the cards so you know what to look forward to on tonight's fight night. We've got Billy and Stu from Scream versus Baby Firefly. And
number 1 seed. That's my number 1 seed. They're going far. I tell you, man. They're going to the finals.
Awesome. They are from The Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses, and Three from Hell. We've got Kid Jason versus Pamela Voorhees. So this isn't like the one with the hockey mask. He doesn't even know what hockey is. I don't think he ever knows what hockey is. But it's Kid Jason and his mama from Friday the 13th. We've got Pearl and Howard. People still reminding us that you can still be in love well into your 80s while killing people from X. We've got a different little team here. 3 people. Jigsaw and 2 of his followers, Hoffman and Amanda. Now, in this
we got
fight,
all 3 of them are on the same team.
Well, remember what we said on this fight. One of them from each team is going to die.
Yes.
So we're gonna see who actually dies in this fight. Somebody will
Ooh.
die.
Are we gonna put that to a vote as well?
I think we're just gonna decide who dies, or maybe
Okay.
let's do a vote. Why not? It's fun.
Yeah.
And then we've got all three strangers, and one of them will also die because I just like talking about people dying on this show. It's that kind of show.
Yeah.
And for our big finale, the main event tonight, we've got Chop Top and Leatherface, aka Bubba, from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, one of my favorites of the franchise, against Corey Cunningham and Michael Myers from
Ooh.
Halloween Ends. That particular Michael Myers, he's a little old, but he's still got it. He's still got it. All right, so let's see. Lion King is right here. Yeah, Demi did a horror themed Royal Rumble. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, Megan won? No way. You made a good point the other stream. Like, she can't even defeat a glass of water.
I know. Telling you guys, we know what's up on the show. I'm just saying. Maybe
I challenge Megan. I think I could beat her up. I don't know.
I challenge Megan too.
Yeah.
All right.
Robot Wars.
I think you guys recognize these two, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we need to discuss this who they are. So I'll take care of that part. So who they are, this is Billy and Stu. They are best friends who enjoy killing other people together from 1996's Scream. Theoretically, they are both dead, but a lot of people question that. Also, we did see Billy come back via a hallucination. Anyway, they are two of the baddest ghost faces to ever ghost face in the Scream franchise. You guys want to talk about their strengths and weaknesses? You guys want to take
Sure.
You take weaknesses, or you take strengths and he'll take weaknesses.
Oh, okay, sure. Whatever we could come up with. Yeah. All right. They're both ladies, man. That's a strength. Because Billy was hooking up with some Latina mom that we still might see like in Scream 6, right? Her mom. So he was already a teen dad at the time. And Stu was also a bit of a ladies' man too. He was hooking up with Casey Becker, Drew Barrymore, Rose McGowan, probably two of the hottest girls at that school.
I know, right?
Yeah, like why do you got to be a killer, dude? You're all the things are going right for you.
Except for he's a mama's boy. Really, it's sad because the only girl he really wants to pay attention to him is the one that left, his mother.
Yeah. And he didn't really have a motive. His motive was like, cause it's fun, right? He wanted to like imitate the movies and such. Billy's motive was more about revenge for the horror mom sleeping with his father and such. And Stu was even shocked at that. Like, whoa, what? You're just telling me this now, bro? I thought we were doing this other motive. So their motives are different, but they really gel well together. I like their teamwork because they definitely killed Casey Becker together. Both of them probably had to kill the Fonz because they hung them from the goalposts and everything. That took two people to probably do. So they work well together as a team.
That's something we're going to be looking at with all of these teams because they can turn on each other. This team, I don't think that's going to happen quite so much. They did end up stabbing each other, but they thought it was part of the plan. They're just not very good at the plan at certain parts of it. But, they are tough. They can handle getting their ass kicked. They get right back up. Yeah, and they're fierce. What are some of their weaknesses, though?
They're a couple of lady killers for sure. They can weaknesses. Well, they both can get frustrated pretty easily. Mm-hmm. They have being a problem with the ladies as well. Ladies can kind of get under their skin and kind of throw them off their game. They get a little too cocky with Sydney there and start stabbing themselves just because they think they have her where they want her, and she ends up turning. They also underestimate Gail. That backfires on them. So
yeah, I thought she was dead. Yeah. So she looks dead, man. Still does.
Also, like I mentioned, they are really clumsy. These guys, they get knocked down and they get up again. They do a lot of that. Also, especially Billy, is very fixed into this idea of the rules of a slasher movie. I believe to this day that is why he wanted to have sex with Sydney, because otherwise she would be this virginal final girl who would have the power to kill him. He doesn't understand that, horror movie rules don't necessarily work in their real world, but he is set on that. He is set on things have to follow a certain pattern. he's not able to really be outside of that box. He's really limited to those rules. Stu is more of a wild card though, so he makes a really good pairing for him. So I'm interested to see how this is going to work out.
Yeah.
You guys ready for the next one?
Wait, is Stu alive? Who are we on the Stu alive train?
I don't think it matters whether Stu is alive because for ours, we're just kind of beaming them out of 1996.
Oh, I know. This is just, I don't know. I hope he pops up at Scream 6.
I mean, I was part of the People versus Stu Mocker trial, which was like a massive thing over on Craven Something Scary. So if you'd like to hear all of our exhaustive thoughts on why he could be alive, go check that out. It was pretty fun. Okay, let's go to our next crew. We've got Otis and Baby Firefly. Baby Firefly, Otis is her adoptive brother, and these guys are family. They are literally ride or die together. We've seen them through 3 movies. They have survived a lot. I guess I'll go ahead and cover their strengths. They have survived being literally riddled with bullets. So many bullets. Like, I was pretty confident at the end of Devil's Rejects that they were dead. But you know what? Lo and behold, they turn up relatively intact and 3 from hell. They are brutal. They genuinely believe they are infused with like the power of the devil. So they are not afraid of anybody. They're not even afraid of death, which I guess when you don't die, that's kind of goes with the territory. They're scary. They've got this family. Really, the only I'll let you guys handle weaknesses.
Well, weaknesses is they're kind of sloppy at covering up their trail because they don't really care. The cops are always on their ass and trying to find them, so they don't care too much about that. They'll like go in. They'll like take a warden from a prison and make him like do what they say. But once again, like it leaves this big manhunt on their ass at all times. So that's about their only real weakness. I guess Danny Trejo and Diamond Dallas Page are kind of their weaknesses. But then they took care of Danny Trejo later. Diamond Dallas Page is still out there though. So
what do you want to add to that, Brian? Anything that we might have missed for strengths and
weaknesses? Well, one of their strengths is they all seem to be doing meth. They don't seem to sleep at all. So that's a strength.
They crash over at their buddy's house and
they're both great with guns, and because they had that big old epic shootout in the rejects. I mean, they're more frantic sort of fighters. They're not as cerebral as like a Billy and Stu, or they don't seem to have like a long drawn out plan. They more seem to kill on the feel of things and adjust themselves to a scenario, which is good, but it could also help them in any matchup.
I will say, like Mr. Flixer said, they are more experienced killers. They didn't need to be taught by a Roman. This isn't their first rodeo. They've had many rodeos. And they have survived their entire franchise, which is rare for killers like these in movies. They truly are evil, and that is also a weakness of theirs because I think they get a little overconfident sometimes. Baby especially is really frantic, and so she is liable to, like you said, just kill anybody just because they annoyed her, or maybe just because it's fun. They're not super careful about like, well, how are we gonna, what's our plan for getting away? There is no plan for getting away.
She uses her sex appeal a lot too, you know. So it's sort of like, it's the sex appeal for it, and he's very unassuming too. Like, oh, he looks like a dirty old hippie bum. Like, you don't think anything like, oh, this guy's that much of a threat. But yeah, they're very unassuming at times.
I'm going to go ahead and put the vote in the chat so you guys can start voting on who you think would win. Guys,
this is our first match?
About who we think is going to win.
Well, some strengths I want to point out.
Absolutely.
Notice, they have way more experience with way better weapons. They don't just use a Scream like Ghostface outfit and a knife, possibly a handgun at the end to monologue. They have like automatic weapons. They have like crossbows and bow and arrows and all kinds of stuff, knives. Baby herself is an efficient knife throwing. She's killed people by just throwing a knife.
Damn.
They've used sniper rifles. They've used shotguns.
Great point.
All kinds of weapons, and they are way more experienced at that kind of stuff and way less likely to give you any time of the day to pull that trigger. So
yeah, there's a very good reason they are so confident, because they are that good. They have had some run-ins with law enforcement where they've gotten their asses kicked, but none of their victims have ever managed to really do any significant damage.
Oh,
Especially
haunted by horror. How high is their body count? What's the estimate?
Otis has at least 44 on-screen kills.
Dang.
And his 3 movies, Baby's got a little under 20 on screen, but it's still heavily implied that they've killed a lot more than that.
Your slasher knowledge is sexy.
Wow.
They took on like a mafia from Mexico, like the Luch. I can't remember the Satans, whatever they were, but they took them on, and those are professional like killers down in Mexico, and they use sniper rifles. They're way quicker about killing people and not toying with them when they know that they're up against an actual threat. But when it comes to like, just teenagers like cheerleaders and Dwight from The Office, they'll play around with them.
Oh yeah, Dwight. Yeah, that's funny. You killed
somebody
him.
who's actually gonna bring the fight. They can just get down into ruthless, kill you quick mode, like headshots. If they
Dang. I was like, Billy and Stu's my number 1 seed, but damn, dude, you guys are talking them up so well. I go, all right, this is tough.
Yeah.
Okay, so who do you think, Bryan, is going to win this one?
I say Billy. I like Billy and Stu better. I'm sorry.
Remember, it's
I don't
not
know.
who you like more, though. It's
I
who
like
you
them
think
better.
win.
No, they can't lose. I already said they'll go to the finals. I can't back down now.
You
But I
can
like all
always
you
change
guys'
your
points.
mind.
Think about if their plan fully went through, and they weren't killed, they would have done a sequel. They would have got better. They would have gained that more experience.
But we're not.
Dude.
We're taking them from 1996.
1996.
Not in a hypothetical future where they have more adventure.
Yeah. Ah, man.
They wouldn't have made it that far because they died at the end of the movie.
Yes. All right, I'm going Billy Stu still. I can't
How
be
do
shook.
they win?
Oh, all right. How would they win? I think they would come up with a good plan.
They are better at planning.
They are pretty good at planning, right? So possibly outsmart. I think they're definitely smarter than both of those. Nothing in those, even though they escaped from prison in that one, I just don't feel like, oh, they really did it like smartly. They just sort of took opportunities and went for it. So I'm saying Billy and Stu because of those reasons. And I don't think the sex appeal thing would work on them with Baby's influence over them.
She doesn't always use that, though.
Yeah. And they're both good at guns. And Stu, which I think Billy was the one to kill Tatum in the garage as well. So he's like fast thinking. He's actually quick to action. Billy and Stu win.
I like it. I think he made some really good arguments there. For mine, I'm gonna go with Baby and Otis, Firefly. I do agree with you that Billy and Stu are smarter, but these two are wild animals. You can be smarter than a lion, but a lion's gonna take your ass out. These two are nigh unstoppable. I mean, for 3 movies, they haven't been killed. And what are Billy and Stu gonna do? Stab them? They've survived worse. Are they gonna shoot them? With their small, tiny little gun? They've had a team of cops, fire at them all at once. There is no way these 2 guys can kill Baby and Otis Firefly.
But I think Rob Zombie meant for him. He meant for him to die. Come on, they got shot up. What Freebird was playing and everything.
It doesn't matter though, because it's what's in the movies.
I know they got killed, but Zombie went. Yeah, all right, let's make a third one. Sure.
But we're going with the movies. We're treating the movies like they are fact, and there is
they're fact. They're more durable. Yeah,
and they walk off into the sunset at the end of that one. So absolutely, I think they're gonna win. Like I said, there's no way I can picture Billy and Stu killing them, and there's 1,000 creative ways Baby and Otis are gonna kill Billy and Stu.
Yeah,
I have to go with I like Billy and Stu. I like Scream a lot more. I'm not actually a big fan of the Rob Zombie movies, but I do have to go with Baby and Otis because they are just more ruthless. They don't have hardly ever do they have a revenge plan intact. Sometimes, but it's still more straightforward when they do want to have revenge. They don't run around in the shadows. And that's the only thing I can say that maybe a Ghostface could catch them off guard if they didn't know they're being stalked by a Ghostface. But once they know that there's even any threat in there, they're just gonna like make the whole house cheese whiz with like their guns, and they killed. I don't think Billy and Stu could have survived the Satan's luchador mafia down in Mexico in that shootout. I don't think they could. I couldn't possibly see talking out of that. But Baby and Otis somehow managed to do it, and like I said, I like Stu and especially Stu. Stu's actually really awesome
Stu's
guy,
awesome.
but I just don't think they would win. I think if they fought a bunch of times, there'd be a few fluke wins on the other side. Like if there's 100 fights, maybe there'd be about 15 wins for Stu, and as Ghostface stabbing him in the dark. But I think
That'd be cool, like a series. Yeah.
They're just going to be bullet hole ridden.
Yeah, I agree. So we've got 2 for Baby and Otis. We got 1 for Billy and Stu. I'm going to check in with the chat. Ariel's voting for Billy. By the way, when I'm done checking in with your comments, I'm going to call the votes. And now is the time to get your votes in. Baby and Otis have a much higher body count. That is true. I vote for Billy and Stu. Sorry, Baby Firefly. Oh, she's fine. I don't think Baby cares about too much other than ice cream and her family. Well, the sheriff did outsmart the family, so Billy and Stu could plan to get them. This is true.
Boom! Come on, KL. Come on, Billy and Stu. Come on, dude. It's 41-59. It's very close right now.
Billy's or Stu away from each other where Otis is waiting. It's a divide and kill strategy. That's possible. Firefly all day. And our last comment, Dan, this is a tough choice for me, but I think Baby and Otis got this in the bag. All right, calling it. It was a close one, so definitely not a squash match, which is something I always like to see here. Our winners are Baby and Otis Firefly at 59%.
Oh.
Otis did very well, though, at 40%. And again, if it was a popularity contest, I 100% would say Billy and Stu.
My first seat's gone. Damn.
I'm sorry.
I would call this an upset. Upset.
Fight Night's brutal, man. You should have seen how hurt I was when Buffy lost the Slayers one, but these things happen.
I was. You guys just made such good sense that of course it's gotta be them. Yeah, I can't say you're wrong. That's what I just like them so much.
I agree. If it's popularity, I'd be voting the other way.
A lot of these, I think it's like a popularity contest too.
If it's down to who we want to have a beer with, Billy and Stu.
Of course, I want to kick it with them. Yes, I don't want to kick it with these guys. No.
No, they honestly, but again, I think it goes towards they scare me a little more too.
Yeah.
It's like
they do scare me. Yeah. Billy and Stu, yeah, they're very unassuming and
awesome to see my good friend Maverick Media here. By the way, Maverick will be on the show next week because next week we're gonna do what we love about Scream. Da-na-na-na-na-na. We're not actually gonna sing this song. We're just gonna talk about what we love about Scream, and hopefully Bryan will check it out because obviously he loves Scream. Okay, yes, I'm really excited for the next one. This is we made this card together, by the way, guys. Bryan and I over on his channel. So if you want to see how we built this card, you should go check out his stream. It was a lot of fun. And I credit a lot of these awesome fighters just to Bryan just come up with some awesome stuff. So now we have Baby and Otis moving on to round 2. And next we're getting into Jason and Pamela versus Pearl and Howard.
Oh, I love this matchup. We got an old woman and a kid, Jason. So those are the rules we came up with. Like, all right, they've had to work together in some format, like in a movie, right? Like, so it's Pamela and kid Jason. I think, oh man, this is tough. It's a tough matchup versus 2 old people too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going to go to my Google Slides because one of them isn't working. So give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
Yeah.
All right.
But Pamela, ooh, she's good with the axe. She killed a couple of people in some nice creative ways. She's very unassuming too.
There's gonna be a new series, isn't there?
Yeah, the Friday the 13th series this year.
And that's I wish we'd seen that. They would give us a little more insight on this battle, but it's fine. I'm looking forward to it.
I know. What do you think about them going to TV? I go, that's cool, but there's so much backstory about Friday the 13th and Jason that we could be going into. Like, what about Jason's dad? What about what's the whole thing? Like, what did Jason do from being a kid all the way to being Sackhead in part 2? There's a lot of gaps in the history of that.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm really looking forward to that.
Plus, because then, like, the next night on Saturday is when part 3 takes place, and all of a sudden he doesn't have that long hair and beard.
Yeah.
I think I broke it.
Well, like, yeah. What 2, 3, and 4 happened in the same weekend, right? Oh, okay, it's me. Yeah, the Friday the 13th is going to be such an awesome TV show. Can't wait. I gotta put that up there with like one of my most anticipated everything the next year.
Okay, let's try this again. I'm just gonna try uploading it from my computer again.
But yeah.
So more on Pamela Voorhees.
Pamela Voorhees, well, damn, she's got some really creative kills. I'll say that about her.
Yeah. And she's a lot stronger than she looks. A lot of those kills, like, she's going through the bed and through Kevin Bacon. Remember, we're just using the first movie here.
Yeah.
But she's a lot stronger than she looks. Also, I mean, testament to that, at the end of it, when she gets decapitated, those massive man hands she has. those are some massive man hands.
Yeah, I wouldn't want them grabbing my throat.
Yeah, she's very old school, man. She seemed like a farm chick, like she grew up on a farm or something.
Yeah.
She's strong.
Good with like an axe, a bow and arrow, a rifle, a knife. She's good with a lot of weapons. So
We'll see that. Oh yeah, because you mentioned like Pearl and Howard weren't like old in. They weren't a team yet.
Yeah,
No.
he's not killing anybody.
He
yet.
can't. Well, I mean, he might have been overseas, but he wasn't.
Yeah.
A team like a murderer team.
Oh yeah, you're right. He wasn't murdering people in the war. So
yeah, probably.
You gotta give him credit on that. That's a big strength. He's got military training.
That's
and
true.
Killed before all this. Boom! I totally forgot about that. That's definitely.
We don't know if he got any kills in the war. We just
well, he wasn't an IT guy in World War One. I don't know.
We don't know.
I think World War One it was all hands on deck. Right?
I'm pretty sure he shot somebody.
Yeah. And it was like trench warfare and gas, and you would sit in trenches for months on end. World War One, such a brutal war.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he got his hands dirty.
All right, here we go. Well, we're going to use this. There's our picture. I had to go kind of robot chickeny with this, but there's Pamela. Took a lot of work.
Because they don't have a picture of them together. She did make an appearance in the remake as well, but it was played by different actors.
I have to say, Jason Voorhees there is like probably the world champion at Marco Polo. Can hold his breath for a really long time.
Yeah, he was sitting in that water forever.
So let's talk about strengths and weaknesses. We've talked about Pamela's strength. I think obviously with Kid Jason, he can hold his breath a freaking long time. Also, he is stealthy. Alice doesn't even hear a ripple in the water when she's laying in that canoe. She does not hear him coming up through the water and jumping on her. Really, that's the only thing we can use for Kid Jason is that big jump scare, that iconic Carrie moment at the end of the movie. Weaknesses are he got a little kid body, but I'm assuming his little kid body is much like his little, his big adult body that you can probably stab him. You can probably shoot him. He's probably not going to die right away. We've seen as he grows up that he is extremely hard to kill. So I'm imagining even as a child, that was the case. His mother.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was his real medical condition? Because he's always had like Elephant Man head,
Yeah, I think that's what he has.
A deformity for sure.
Yeah, and then
he's not. He's got issue. He can't. His mom says he can't swim really well, but he can hold his breath for forever.
Right, because I'll mention like Freddy versus Jason when they were throwing him in the water, he was already looking messed up. So that was like pre-drowning. Because you watch the first one, you're like, all right, maybe he drowned and toxic. Because he comes out of the water like a Toxic Avenger looking dude or something. Yeah. So you're like, well, what was his real like deformity? That's like another thing I want to learn from Camp Crystal Lake.
He was homeschooled, I know that much. He was very protective and sheltered him, but when she trusted some like lifeguards on duty to take care of him, they didn't, and he was pushed into the water by other campgoers, and he drowned.
He does have a physical deformity. I believe a lot of his mental stuff, though, is because of his mother's overbearing nature. Again, we're getting really hypothetical here, and I'm trying to stick to the facts.
Yeah.
But he doesn't talk much. He doesn't socialize much. Probably other children are afraid of him by his appearance. So, those all factor into it. With her, obviously, she can die. She was decapitated. When she comes back in part 3, that's just a hallucination. So that doesn't really count. She can die. She can be decapitated. She can be knocked down by Alice. She's not the great at subterfuge. Like you can tell pretty early on, like this bitch is crazy. Like when she's trying to be like, I'm Mrs. Voorhees, it's like, no, you're crazy. You're the killer. So I would say those were strengths and weaknesses. What about you guys?
Well, it's like hinted in Jason Goes to Hell that she used the Necronomicon to, in a sense, bring him back to life. Like he's almost a deadite, but that's not ever a fact. So we can't use that.
And I just learned that fact like a month ago. I can't believe that got by me. And it was actually like they used the same prop book in that movie too. It made me have to go watch it again.
Yeah. I mean, it's only somewhat fair because Evil Dead had Freddy's glove in it, so
like, yeah, they had to mix and match.
For the most part, we need to try to stick within the parameters of Friday the 13th. Like you guys said, I'm so excited for the new Camp Crystal Lake one because I think with these characters in particular, this version of the characters, I think we're going to learn so much more because we do know little things like what his father's name was and that kind of thing. So I really hope they explore that.
I'd say her weaknesses is that somewhat she's batshit crazy. Like,
I would say she's old. She's got osteoporosis, probably. She's old. Probably arthritis.
I don't think she does because she's really strong. If she had osteoporosis,
yes, she is. She got crazy strong. Oh, yeah, she's crazy strong. That's another strength. So
she doesn't tell most of her victims the whole sob story, but she really monologues to Alice and kind of. She hears the voice of Jason in her head, which so I don't know. There's some shit going on there. She can get off track, is what I'm saying.
My whole theory with her hearing Jason and after he died, I think he did come home and he's kind of like, I'm here, take care of me. And I think she had already come to terms with the fact that her son was dead. And so she believed that was a hallucination. She can't tell what's real from what's not real anymore. So I do think, like you said, she's batshit crazy.
Yeah. But like I said, proficient with lots of different weapons and tools that could kill people and clever ways of killing those people with those weapons. So
clever girl.
Yeah.
What you got, Bryan?
Oh, I agree. I agree with all that Pamela stuff. So Pamela is definitely the leader of this team. Like Kid Jason, if it's like a traditional tag team, right? She's gonna get the hot tag and come in there and clean house. And what we're facing Pearl and Howard, so that's gonna be a tough one. But they got shotguns, they got different sort of utensils to use. They're very unassuming old people. They're very much older at this point. What, in their 80s?
Yeah.
So if we're putting it to a vote now,
well, not yet. We got to talk about our opponents.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
We haven't gone.
So let's talk about our opponents, Howard and Pearl. Yeah, I'm moving it.
There we go.
The slide didn't work for Pamela and Jason, so I had to finagle some stuff. But here is Howard and Pamela. They have I don't know exactly how old they are, but they're effing old. They're like in their 80s. And they're not taking care of themselves. Like, what's going on with Howard's eyes? And I don't know, guys. Their skin's all saggy.
He looks bad.
Yeah. They look fragile as all hell. They look like I could probably break them in half. One of the things they have going for them is that they're old. So I think most people will assume that they're frail. And most people will not fight back. A lot of times when Pearl's trying to seduce people, they don't think to push her off because she's very old. You could hurt her. When she gets knocked down at the end of the movie, she does break a hip. Yeah. Howard cannot please her sexually because he has an extremely bad heart. So there's a couple of your big weaknesses there. I think for this one, we're just going to, for going forward, it's probably best if we just all take turns doing strengths and weaknesses because they kind of blur together.
Okay.
But they definitely have a lot of experience killing. They both do, whereas Kid Jason, he's not killed anybody. They have one big weakness is that they're very sexual driven, and I don't know who they're trying to fuck here. Please not the kid. That's messed up. That's not going on this show. So let's just say they're trying to seduce Pamela Voorhees because she got it going on. I'm going to go with that. I like that scenario better. I don't think Pamela's going to fall for that crap, and because she's old as well, she's not going to treat them like they're fragile. She's going to knock them over. My vote is that Pamela and Jason win, just because these two have very big weaknesses. Howard's heart and Pearl's Pearl is her. She does have osteoporosis. She does have bad.
Yeah, she has a bad hip.
She gets knocked over and she breaks her hip. The advantage they had in the movie X is nobody fought back because they assumed they were frail. Pamela would not make that mistake. And she also has Jason to keep things interesting and keep these two on their toes. I think Pamela and Jason would win.
I'm going to say I have to agree because I think Pamela pretty much can take Pearl and Howard by herself. I would like to put a scenario here where even though they're in different states, this is in like Texas, I think, and then Friday the 13th in like New York. So, Jersey. But it's funny because let's say that Camp Crystal Lake's on the other end of the lake that they have an alligator in because they have an alligator. Pearl and Howard have like a alligator.
Oh yeah,
they do.
But let's say that lake is where they share a lake with Camp Crystal Lake here.
Oh.
And Pamela is trying to kill all the sexy counselors. But one of the sexy counselors is over, and Pearl has her sights on the sexy counselor. So Howard and Pearl are going to have their way.
I like your scenario so much better than mine. Let's go with yours.
That sounds so much fun.
Fuck kill this counselor. Pamela shoots it with an arrow from her bow and arrow. And now Pearl and Howard are mad and they try to take on Pamela. And it is a little bit of a back and forth, but I would say Pamela, like I said, can take them both. She does manage to take Howard, who is the biggest threat, especially with the shotgun. Pamela also good with rifles, also good with weapons, also a little more spry, a little quicker. She takes him out. Pearl, hurt and obviously can't seduce or even barter with Pamela, crawls towards that dock and she's begging not to be killed. And that crocodile's coming, and she's hoping that Mrs. Voorhees will get just a little closer. And that crocodile's coming. But before it does, Kid Jason pulls and the crocodile eats her instead. That is the movie right there.
I love that. You killed it. Well done. Bryan, what do you got for us?
Wow, that was so cool. Now I'm convinced. Yeah, I'm convinced that was. Because you throw in the alligator with them, like, damn, dude, that's like a mystery partner or something like that. You go, damn, dude, I forgot about their damn alligator.
It's like when the valet throws shit from outside the ring.
Like Pearl feeds it, and I think it knows that, and like she's trying to feed it Pamela by luring her to the dock there, and it almost works, but she doesn't know anything about this kid Jason in the water. So he's going to pull her in, and that alligator ain't that loyal. It'll eat her instead.
It's an opportunist.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go with maybe Pamela. And you guys make such a good point. Oh, and the alligator. But Jason rules that water, I bet he had to wrestle an alligator or two in his day.
I'm sure.
I think Jason could take an alligator just because of sheer perseverance. Just because it's like they say in the video game, whenever you die, you can't die. You can never die. I think you can keep chomping, but it's Jason. He doesn't go down easy.
Yeah, he's very more supernatural than Pearl and Howard, and they're both very old. See, if you're saying Pearl and Howard from Pearl, maybe military training, they're both in their prime. We did forget to
mention that, yeah.
Yeah, Pearl is very sexy. Mia Goth is very sexy in that movie. She would get the upper hand on.
I think when they're younger, for sure.
They'd have a better chance.
Howard has that heart that's so fragile. I mean, ultimately, at the end, they're taken out by Jenna Ortega, distracting them, and then basically Maxine single-handedly takes them both out just because they're so. She finally is the first person who fights back, and that heart and that hip, boom, boom, and then she runs her over with the truck, which was awesome.
I would still say I'd probably give it to Pamela just with her more creative kills and where she almost can kill some people without even being seen. That she would probably even still have the upper hand even against the younger ones, but barely. I think it would be like really like 59-41, like at that point. But when we're going with the older version where they're actually a team of killers, then I would say it's definitely have to be Pamela.
I agree. I think Pamela and Jason are running away with this. They got 75% of the vote.
They're doing really well. And it's kind of funny when we do this. And usually I initially just look at the pictures and I kind of in the back of my head, oh yeah, Pearl and Howard are probably good because they're both adults. But then we start talking about it and you're like, oh no, Pamela kicks ass.
Yeah.
You got anything else you want to add, Bryan, before we check out the chat?
Pamela and Jason. Yeah, dude. Jason's a killer. Jason's pretty strong. We don't know how strong he is as a kid. That's what.
No.
Because he came out the gate pretty strong. Came out of the water, killing people already in part 2. He was a grown man then, but we're talking kid Jason. He's very sly. He evaded the police this whole time. I'm going Pamela and kid Jason.
Wow, so we are unanimous, guys. We never on the show. We're hardly ever unanimous. It's a rare fight night thing. So let me check in with your chat. Now is the time to get your votes. And by the way, Bryan, you can vote too. So if
I know I did vote. I voted on my phone.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Just making sure that you know. Checking in with the chat. Get your votes in when I am done.
I should have had like 5 phones to get Billy and Stu out. I gotta have multiple accounts. Damn
you
it!
gotta get like your mama and your grandma.
Yeah.
And, like your
Mom,
kid,
go vote for somebody. Vote for Billy and Stu. We need them.
Jason as a kid is useless. Hey, my our very good friend Rich from the Movie Massacre Show is here.
What up, Rich?
Ariel says, yes, Howard and his wife Pearl from X. The whole world is going to know her name. Very cool.
Yep.
Pearl hates blondes too. That's true.
Oh, shit.
Pearl and Howard are clever, though. Jason as a kid is useless. He's like Dominic Mysterio. Oh, shots fired. Yet Dominic Mysterio actually held his own in the Royal Rumble.
He did better than his dad, who didn't even come out.
Was MIA. Pamela's not really that smart. Got her head taken off pretty easily. I'm voting for Howard and Pearl from X. Awesome. Good comments. And I saw one more. Hey, it's nice to see Michael Joe here. And Jason says Mrs. Voorhees and Jason. All right, let's call it. And the winner is Dan. Who's the winner?
It is Miss Voorhees and her son.
Are they? Well, she
Mrs.
is married.
Voorhees.
She's
Mrs. Voorhees, yes.
She earned that, dude.
Yes.
She earned that. Well, the dad bounced, so he went out for cigarettes or something, right?
Yeah, he took one look at Jason and it's like, yeah, I gotta bounce.
That's so mean. He's a mean, yeah. So
people leave their families for a lot less.
Yeah, they
do.
do.
80s about like what took place in what the 50s. So
yeah,
probably what happened.
Yeah, you could just move like 3 miles away, never see him again.
I think all the more reason that Pamela loves him so fiercely because one, he loves her unconditionally, like a true mama's boy, but also because nobody else loves him. Somebody's got to make up for all that. I love Jason. As a kid, I always thought, I'd be friends with him and he wouldn't kill me because we'd be gross. But little kid me would have gotten her ass kicked. So that's not good logic when you go to camp, guys. Though honestly, he doesn't kill a lot of kids. So maybe I was right. That's
all right, so Pearl and Howard took the spot of Chucky and Tiffany, right?
Yes, we went non-supernatural. We should do one where we do supernatural tag teams. Then we can get like Freddy and some other interesting ones in here. I'm always sad. You know how much I love Chucky. Everyone knows how much I love Chucky. So as you can see from the bracket, Baby and Firefly are going to go against Jason and Pamela in round 2. Yikes. I'm a little scared, guys. I'm a little scared.
Tough matchup.
That's going to go. As they say in Teen Witch, top that. I love that movie. Okay, let's this is a really fun one because not only do you guys get to vote on the winner, you guys get to vote on who dies. Bryan, last couple ones we've started and kind of swayed you, but let's let you take this one. You start with your strengths, weaknesses, and if you want to go ahead and say who's going to win, go ahead. We've got Jigsaw, Amanda, and Hoffman versus, well, hold on, I got these extra ones, versus the Strangers.
Oh, good matchup, but you gotta say Hoffman's a cop. He's got training. But he's an engineer. Amanda's a former drug addict. She'll get down in the dirt. She put herself in her own trap and went down in a pit of needles. She'll do whatever it takes to win. I think this, but they work well together, right? I mean, they were all apprentices, but Hoffman sort of screwed that up for him. But I like the Strangers. But the Strangers more, they're crazier. They're just doing it just to have fun. And I think they just enjoy torturing the people. I think I got to go with Jigsaw team. Yes, Jigsaw's team. because they got traps and toys. They will plan it better, and I think they could probably outsmart the strangers in any scenario.
What you got, Danny? You want to talk about strengths, weaknesses, and then who would win?
All right, as straight up slashers, I would say the strangers are a little stronger in that strength wise, like getting their hands dirty and killing people with knives and axes a little better. But in this scenario, we have to account for the traps because that's what all the Jigsaw stuff is about. So we have to count those traps. I don't think at least 2 of the 3 strangers here would actually survive most of those traps. I think Baghead, in a sense, he is showed enough, especially in the Strangers Part 2, that he can survive a lot of horrible stuff and keep coming. And he's still walking around after that movie is over. So I think maybe he could get through a trap and take out at least one of the Jigsaw teams, because that's what we've agreed. Even the winning team's going to lose somebody here. I feel that he would at least be able to kill Amanda and get through a trap, but then Hoffman would come out of the shadows and take him out while Jigsaw is distracting him with one of his speeches.
My turn? You done? All right, my turn. This is a tough one. I agree with you. I think those traps are such an asset. Obviously. So the traps are a big asset. The thing is, the Saw team is extremely fragile, as it would be. They all turn on each other. Amanda and Jigsaw have turned on each other. Hoffman and Jigsaw have turned on each other. This is an extremely precarious team. And I think the strangers being, I think, a little bit smarter, they tend to stand back and observe a little bit more. I think they would be like, let them fight amongst themselves and take them out and have a lot of fun with it. I think they would find ways to put them in scenarios where maybe they'd end up in their own traps. I think they would really enjoy kind of forcing the tension between these guys. Because when you're in a situation where you're fighting for your life, things get tense and you find out how people really feel about you. You know, you've seen tons of horror movies where people are like, I love you, I'm going to fight to the death for you. And people who are like, yeah, see ya, I'm saving myself. That's when you find out who people's true colors really are. And I think even though there's more skill in the Saw team, there's engineers, there's, all these people who are ruthless, I think they're going to be brought down by their lack of trust in their team. They also have very big weaknesses to exploit. Hoffman trusts nobody. He's a bad cop. Jigsaw has, I think, pretty much turned on every one of his followers at some point. He's extremely arrogant. He is always the right one. He is always God. You can't be a good enough follower for him. Eventually, he will deem you unworthy in some way and turn against you or find somebody better suited. And poor Amanda, she just doesn't have a chance. So yeah, guys, I'm going with the strangers. I just think they are a well-oiled team. They're almost one entity, the way that they work together. They seem to always know where the other ones are. Much like with the Firefly family, they are fearless. They have survived. They survived one movie. They didn't survive the second one. But I think the issue was that they came against a family of 4 that fought back just as hard, and they had a lot more passion.
They're getting a trilogy, right?
There's 2. There's
no. They just announced like they're doing a strange.
But it's not out yet, and it's a remake.
We don't know what it entails. They might not be the same people in that one.
But based on what we have, I feel like the first one, the fact that the 2 people didn't fight back, and the fact that they had a big, even the friend who showed up they weren't really working together. I think to beat the strangers, you need to work together. You need to fight back passionately, like that family did in the second one. The Saw team does not have that. I'm voting the strangers. All right, guys, you have anything else you want to add?
They don't really work well together. Or, the Saw team. They all turn on each other. Jigsaw's got cancer off the get-go, so he's not like a
threat, but
he's not going to be physically strong to fight anybody, really. And you got to get these guys in the traps. So
I'm assuming in like this scenario, they have the traps set up and the strangers in a sense have to get through them to kill them because physically they are more opposing. Like I said, they are more hands-on with weapons. They have to kill Jigsaw to win this. Jigsaw is on the other field of the traps, whatever, the warehouse that is full of traps. Like I said, though, I don't think that family that did fight back and kick the stranger's ass would survive Jigsaw traps. I just don't see that they would.
I don't think they would. I think they will wear. Well, I think with each of these, I always look at, well, one, can they kill them? You know, like we did that with Billy and Stu. I don't think they could kill them. But with these ones, I do think the strangers have the ability to kill the other ones. I don't think they would fall for the traps because they observe a lot before they get in the fray.
I think you kind of have to go through traps regardless.
I think that they would be smart enough to get out of them. They also don't care about dying. And really, that's what you need to survive a saw trap. You need to not care about dying. You need to be able to fight. You need to be able to lose a limb. You need to be able to hurt somebody else. These are things you need to survive a saw trap. These guys would be fine cutting off an arm. They would be fine stabbing each other. They're not afraid of death.
But how useful are they? 2 of them have died pretty easily through mortal wounds. Where, like I said, I think Baghead could definitely get through it. He's shown he's still alive.
Technically, he's the masked man.
Exactly. Well, the guy with the bag head. That's why I call him that, because he's got a bag on his head.
Yeah.
We're redubbing him.
He could still be alive. Yeah, you're right. He got like hit in the face with like a baseball bat.
He's still technically alive, walking around. So I think he could survive the traps. I think though they're playing chess or checkers, and they're really good at it. But Jigsaw's always playing chess. He is like got a godplex, and he's very arrogant. But the only reason why he's dead is because he knew that his time was up through his cancer. He knew it was up. He wanted it to go down that way. He wanted that guy in part 3 to kill him. That was all. He was goading him the whole time. He would not be dead otherwise. Hoffman, we didn't even know Hoffman was in 3 because they showed that later in the sequels. But he was there.
The Saw franchise because they're all over the place.
He was technically there. They show in like the flashbacks that he was there for the 3rd movie and stuff. He was there. He's been there the whole time basically. So he does count.
Something I want to add really quick, though, I think the mark of a lot of our big slashers is they die and then they come back. And then you're like, oh, you're next level. You're Jason Voorhees. You're that level. The Strangers, I know the next one's supposed to be a reboot, but if it's not and they just come back from that, they just evolved.
Exactly. Oh, then they win for sure.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens with that.
It seems like a TKO right now, dude. It's 88-12. Oh,
well,
man.
What did we say? I'm voting Strangers. What was your guys' votes?
I'm going with Saw because I just think that Hoffman, as much as I don't like him and he's not the most interesting character, he's survived a lot of movies and he somehow managed to squeak out like a rat every time. He is also a cold-blooded killer when he needs to be. Amanda is a crazy wild card and she gets jealous and crazy all the time. I do think she's the one dying here because we have to pick even when your winning team has to lose somebody in this fight. We've agreed that. Amanda's my vote to kill off, but Jigsaw's still there because he goats them in while Hoffman does the dirty work.
Anything else you guys want to add before I check out the chat?
No, it seems Saw team, dude. TKO. I believe it.
By the way, guys, if you want your comments guaranteed to be read, you can always become a member or do a super chat that I definitely won't skip over. I kind of have to just grab a handful each time. So if I missed your comment, I'm sorry. But hopefully I'll get to it next time. Or like I said, you can always do a super chat. I got these awesome little videos I'll play for you. Promise. All right. I'm going to check out your comments and then we are going to call this poll. Yikes. It's not looking good. So get your votes in. Strangers. No, don't vote for anyone because I said so. Vote for them because you think they would win this fight. All right. Horror Collector Safine says, what if Freddy Krueger turned out to be Jason's daddy?
He kind of alluded.
Great reaction, Bryan. I love it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, it's like, dang, dude, that'd be nuts. And then you're like, dude, are they crossing over with? I want Freddy anything. I don't care. Put him in. He could be in Crystal Lake. I don't give a shit. I watched the Goldbergs because Freddy Krueger was on there. I never watched that show.
That's the only episode I've seen.
That's the only one. Yeah, that's the only one I was like, Freddy's back. Cool. I'm checking it in.
Robert Englund appearance.
Yeah. Wherever he goes, I'm going to watch it and follow. So more stuff, the merrier.
By the way, I'm throwing this out there. A lot of people, because Robert Englund says he's done, and I always respect when someone says, "Hey, I'm done," because I'm grateful for the entertainment they've given me, and if they want to be done, that's cool. I think if someone else were to play Freddy Krueger, Richard Brake is a great choice.
I'm always for Robert Englund, also just even doing a voice of Freddy. Like even if he's not physically doing anymore, I don't care if it's an animated or a video game or whatever, live action, and someone else is in the suit. But I would love Robert Englund. Keep doing the voice. Like Ash, Bruce Campbell said he's done too, but he still said he will do the voice for Ash. He just won't play him live action anymore. All
right, back to your comments. Bye, Amanda, back to Becker. I don't get it, but somebody else was happy that they made a Becker comment. The strangers work as is that the Ted Danson show?
Bye, Amanda.
Yeah, I think so.
Or is it like Bye Felicia from Friday?
I think they're saying Amanda's dead, like from the Saw team.
The strangers work as a team. Saw team doesn't work as a team well. No trust. That was pretty much my point. Mr. Flixer says Jigsaw thinks killers are distasteful. Strangers don't stand a chance. I gave the strangers a pity vote. Well, I'm just happy you gave them a vote, man. Wayne Turner says, shout out to my fellow Aussies. He is an Aussie, by the way, who co-created Saw. James Wan and Lee Whannell, originally rejected by the Australian film industry. Yeah, dude, be very proud of that. Also, like you mentioned, Hoffman is a fellow Aussie of yours. Saw team way too good at making traps and getting others to do what they want. By the way, I can't remember the name of it, but there's an Australian movie I really want to see. I'm going to look it up and tell you before the end of the show. Afro Whale says Saw team way too good at making traps and getting others to do what they want. He is extremely charismatic. That's a good point. Saw team becomes the Shield, the strangers, the insane clown pass. You guys know I love when you make wrestling references. I see tolerate, but wrestling references.
They're wrestling reference too.
Because they're in the wrestling.
They've been in wrestling. They own their own wrestling company.
When?
The Juggalo Championship Wrestling is their
company. Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, they were wrestling back in the 2000s. Oh, weren't they in WCW for a moment?
WCW.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they've been in lots of.
But you know what I do now? I love that Danhausen.
I love that Dan.
Yeah, Danhausen's cool.
For him over ICP.
Yes. Jason Evans says, for me, the strangers unity is power. By the way, Jason, because you are a member, I will read all of your comments, dude. All of them. All of them. Cal L says, Freddy is my fave after Chucky. I love Freddy. I think for me, it's reverse. Chucky is my favorite, and then Freddy. But I love a slasher with a bit of personality. You know what I'm saying?
They both got personalities.
All right, I'm calling it. Can you see the results on your end, Bryan?
Oh yeah, I see it. It says 80% Saw team, 19% strangers.
Well, I just want to point out, though, as much as you said that they are bickering and plotting against each other, they have accomplished so much despite that.
That's true.
They have set traps up all over the cities, like through 9 movies or more.
And they've done what we think, what a lot of us anticipate might be happening with the Ghostfaces. They've created a cult that goes across the country. So you don't even need Jigsaw anymore because they're a cult.
He lives on regardless.
All right, so now you guys get a vote on who is gonna die. So obviously the strangers have died. Rest in peace. The strangers have died, but who in the Saw team is dying? We're gonna put out a poll. Vote for who is gonna die. Pardon me, my love. Who dies?
Well, Jigsaw already got cancer, right? Yeah, so.
Guys, he dies. Actually, I didn't make a slide that didn't have Jigsaw in it. Can we just put Amanda and Hoffman in it?
I mean,
if you want to, yeah, sure. It's your bracket. Yeah.
All right. Jigsaw's kind of, it's like, I feel like we have to have a masked man from Strangers. So I feel like he is the connecting body. Plus, Amanda and Hoffman would fucking kill each other.
They're only because they're being manipulated by Jigsaw to even work together.
Yeah.
I think Hoffman does a pretty good job by himself, as much as I don't like him. He does. But Amanda is my vote. Like I said earlier, she is a wild card, and she's useful as a wild card, but at the same time, she's the weakest link here.
I love Amanda just because she's got a lot of heart, and I sympathize with her. I think especially when you're recovering from something as intense as drug recovery, that's such a hard thing to come over. And you have somebody, I think when you're an unloved person and somebody sees you and somebody respects you and cares for you like a father, you will go to the ends of the earth for them. And her loyalty to Jigsaw is admirable. But ultimately, I think she's too trusting. I think she's too agitated by jealousy, especially when he favors other people. And I think she will die. I don't like Hoffman. I think he's a dick. But I think he's a efficient dick, almost like a Terminator. So I do think he would be the one to survive.
Yeah, I think Amanda's way more of an interesting character, and I feel like the franchise kind of lost something when they did lose her. But in a team battle, if I was Jigsaw, I would have to sacrifice Amanda because Hoffman is more useful to me. That's all. It's nothing personal.
Yeah,
I love this comment. Jigsaw's the manager of Amanda and Hoffman. Wrestling fans get it. Laugh out loud. By the way, Hoffman is a professional wrestler. I don't know if you guys know that, but he does have a personal channel, Danny Knightmare, where you can see him wrestling. It's really cool.
Yeah, last November I won the Thrash Wrestling Death Match tournament. So that was a gold
Death match.
Yeah, I had 3 death matches in one night.
Oh my god!
You never to do again.
What?
Like a regular death match or a Nick Gage death match? Like those
Yeah,
are
it was light bulb tubes and everything.
oh damn.
Brian, I want to hear who you think is who would survive this fight that they just had with the strangers. They're not necessarily killing each other, they might, but they had this fight with the strangers. Somebody didn't survive. Who didn't survive?
Oh man, that's a good one. You guys made so many good points. I mean, I like Amanda. She's an interesting character. She'll do what has to be done to get done. But Hoffman just has more resources. He's got the training. And that's why when he got an apprentice who was like a cop, he's like, okay, cool. They can plant evidence. And that's how they sort of wrote him too. I mean, he's just better rounded for a fight too. So
yeah, that's something I was really sad about, that they never followed through with Gordon, because I think Gordon, being really smart, might have had a chance because he's also independent. At taking down Hoffman, but we never really got to see that. Also, I was really frustrated that Luke from Gilmore Girls looks way too much like Hoffman. I got so confused. Which one's which? They look a lot alike.
And with the weird dark monotone settings or whatever, the color,
yeah.
just like, it all kind of
Wait,
like
is that Luke from Gilmore Girls? Oh, that's Hoffman. I got you. All right, I'm ending it. Unfortunately, I think we all agree that we love Amanda, but Hoffman is a force. So we are going to have to go with Jigsaw and Hoffman. Alrighty, guys, this is the picture I found. All right. This is the picture I found.
They're already turning on each other.
I know.
God, they're not going to make it to the next round.
This is more like this is prequel stuff. Like,
yeah.
Game of Team. It's like a shotgun wedding like union.
Oh, yikes. So I'm going to have to go and modify that. It's going to be Jigsaw and Hoffman.
Or where's that Wayne Turner? He's going to be like, see, Jigsaw's Roman Reigns. He's always testing people. Kicking them out of the bloodline.
By the way, all the lovely people commenting, they are in the gory hole with us, where everything's kind of bloody all the time.
We just had a Royal Rumble raffle, and Gory won a bunch of alcohol, and my sister won all the money. So,
oh, nice.
Yes.
Well, of course you had to go Cody Rhodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who I picked to win. That's why I won beer. And my very good friend who was on last week's fight night, Dino, is here. By the way, Dino, I need to get you back. We got to do some Hammer horror, buddy.
Oh, Late Show.
Yeah. The Late Show is awesome. Do check it out. All right. Are you guys ready for the next? I can't believe we're actually, guys, I think I've decided I really like this one better, where we just have the pictures up and we all join in. Then I don't have to do this big monologue while I read slides. It's more interesting, and we're moving a lot faster. So thank you guys for experimenting with me. I'm having a lot of fun. It's the main event, guys. It is the main event. Brian, give it to us in your best Royal Rumbly voice.
We're getting ready to rumble. It's the fight that we're waiting to see, dude. It's in the thumbnail. We love it. Chop Top and Leatherface, sir. Oh, we haven't seen them in a long time, but they family. Family.
Hey, there's a chance Bill Mosley's making it to the finals in 2 different ways.
And in the other corner, who we got?
That's a good point.
Everybody's favorite underling, Corey Cunningham, teaming up with his mentor, the original Bruce Wayne of slashers himself, Michael Myers. Yeah. This is the Halloween Beyond.
Can I get a hell yeah? This is gonna be a fight like you never seen a fight before. Guys, since this is the main event, let's all go through the strengths and weaknesses for Chop Top and Leatherface. Then we're gonna do the same thing for Corey and Michael, and then we're gonna go around one more time and pick our votes. Is that okay with you guys?
Yes, good.
Go team!
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
I flipping love this movie. I'm actually trying not to swear as much as usual. I've been told recently I say fuck a lot. You know, you're right.
We got spread it out. I think in an hour it hasn't been too many. Like, right? I don't know.
I'm a lady.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. It's really good, awesome movie. But here we're going to be talking about who would win in a fight. I want Brian. You go first. You always go last, dude. You go first.
All right, sure. Chop Top and Leatherface. I gotta admit, I don't know. It's tough. He's got a chainsaw. Oh, we're going strength and weaknesses first, or who we think will
Whatever,
win?
your
We're
strengths
doing
and weaknesses.
strengths and weaknesses. You can mix them together. You can do them one after
All
another.
right, all right. Well, they family. They the bloodline, right? They got the family together, right? The dad, and this is not including the dad and stuff. Even though, like the past matchups, you were like that's throwing in the alligator and such. Shop Top and Leatherface. I mean, they're strong. They could do. He's got a chainsaw. They both have worked together and killed the people at the radio station. And they've only made one movie together. Same thing as the other team. And what's another weakness is grenades because he got blown up. I guess I don't know. He got blown up. And I think Michael and Corey Kasor blend into a crowd better. These guys stick out like, whoa, they can't just walk up to your like regular convenience store. Like
they try with the Sonny Bono wig.
Yeah. So, all right, that's my strengths and weaknesses with them. I guess Chainsaw's your biggest strength.
Go get another beer. Well, can you give me something?
George Killington.
Grab it. You hit it.
All right, so I'm gonna say here with Chop Top and Leatherface, well, they are crazy in this movie. They go around and kill people in cars, like, and still chop up their skulls with the chainsaw.
Mm-hmm.
They go into radio stations. They go all over the place. They have like an underground theme park where they still got Francis's body. It is like is sitting in his wheelchair apparently down there, his skeleton. There's all kinds of shit going on in this movie. And I have to say, the first time I rented this movie, I was actually a little disappointed because I loved the first one so much that when I saw this, it was so different and so bizarre. But it's grown on me. I saw it a long time ago. Like I saw it in the 90s. I know it came out like
same thing, dude. Same thing. 90s,
and I've loved it. Like, you know, it grew on me pretty quick. I just remember the first time I saw it, I'm like, what the hell am I watching? Like, this isn't the first movie felt so real. This was so surreal. But I love it. I love Bill Moseley in this. He got the part finally because they always talked about making a sequel, and he like sent in this Texas Chainsaw not Massacre, but pedicure movie, and like where he eats brain cheese and stuff, and like head cheese. He eats it, and he did it, and like they loved it. Toby Hooper finally made it and made this movie, and he was at war during the first movie. That's why he's got the head plate. It's falling down. Oh, we have a bottle opener here.
Is that strength or weakness? Because he's got a head like Eddie on Christmas Vacation.
Because if Michael tries to stab him in the head or whatever, it's going to deflect it a little bit.
Maybe that'll come into play.
So I'm going to say that it's a bit of a strength. They are way more sporadic and crazy. They are way loud and like, look at us as we do what we do. Way more sloppy, I will say that. The chainsaw is a big plus, though, because that is a great weapon. And I'm going to have to say Leatherface in this. He might not be the strongest or most violent, angry version of Leatherface. He gets side-distracted by sex. He's kind of going like through a weird puberty phase here in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
For women. But he is insanely durable. Dennis Hopper, like, stabs him through, like, the stomach and out the back with a chainsaw. And he still survives this in a sense. He is insanely unkillable.
So did Sally in the remake, right?
Yeah, I mean, he comes right back in part 3. Like, I guess nothing happened. I don't know. He's got a new family started up in that one. But I have to say, like, he's really... They're both wild cards, but I think they're effective wild cards. So that's why I said there's strengths and weaknesses with being a wild card.
I couldn't find George Killington for you. And I've got some Mojo, guys. Coffee beer.
Sponsor.
And hey,
they'll send a case to your house.
We got Michael, we got Ghostface, and we got Jason from like a Stranger Things kind of thing.
We're doing that. I got a card game going on here. I got Jason Voorhees with Chucky. Michael Myers, Ghostface is stabbed in the head. He must have lost the game. Freddy Krueger's there as well.
Nice.
And I like your
I ain't got shit. I don't know.
You got that Kick-Ass Halloween Kills poster and Jaws. And
yeah. I got some posters up. But you guys got a lot of stuff in the background too. That's cool.
Oh yeah. So many things. So I'm gonna talk about Chop Top and Leatherface. They are wild cards in the truest sense of the word. Leatherface is different in all the movies, so I'm gonna stick with just this film. Bubba is a sweetheart, kind of the guy you take home to mama. He's just so sweet. I love Stretch in this movie, her interaction with him. But yeah, we see from how Stretch toys with him a little bit that he really does like respect those personal bonds. He would love to have a girlfriend and stuff. He loves his family. He is embarrassed when they tease him about having a girlfriend. So in a lot of ways, he's kind of like a teenage boy.
Yeah.
You know, he's a little horny.
Yeah.
He's got a big chainsaw. He likes to Jason bash through a wall, make an entrance, as they say. He can still dance like the guy from the first one with that chainsaw. And then you've got Chop Top, who's really, I guess, more the brains of the operation, as you can see by his exposed skull. I do think the plate is an asset here because it does protect his skull actually a lot. It protects his brain a lot better than even the human skull. It's metal. So you can shoot him in the plate, you can, stab. It's not going to do anything. It's also really disarming and gross. He's constantly picking at it with that hook. But he is, I'm not going to say the man's a genius, but he tends to know where to direct Leatherface, who is the muscle of the group.
Oh, is that true? Chop Top also has military experience?
Yes, he was off fighting war during the first movie.
The first movie, we meet another brother who is Nubbins. Nubbins is the dead body that we see at the start of this film. Nubbins is the hitchhiker. And so we see Nubbins because Chop Top is off away at war. Nubbins
got ran over by a
semi. So in this one, Chop Top is home. And so he's taking that brother role, whereas Drayton is kind of the patriarch of the group. But Drayton isn't in this. I want to sneeze. Hakuna Matata. Okay. Yeah, so those are their strengths and weaknesses. They're batshit crazy. They are afraid of nothing and nobody. They make a mean chili. They have great family dinners. And the Saw is family. These guys are well bonded together, even though they tease each other as brothers do. When it comes down to it, they will do whatever it takes to protect one another.
They're loud, they're in your face, and you better just get used to it. They're going to cut you up.
Let's talk about the strengths and weaknesses. Everyone did it for these guys, right? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Brian, hit me with those strengths and weaknesses for Corey and Michael.
Corey and Michael.
I thought you were going to be like, Corey and Michael sitting in the tree.
Well, they love, I guess. And I think they sort of got a good relationship, too. Because Corey out-wrestled Michael, but he sort of like didn't really. It was almost like a father and son sort of fighting, you know?
It's like a mentor and a trainee. It's like his Padawan.
Yeah, it's not like he was trying to really hurt him. It was like wrestling your dad for the car keys or something like that. Yeah. He didn't really want to hurt the boy.
Todd McGinnis and Bruce Wayne there going on there.
Yeah. So, oh man. But, once Michael gets a kill on, he hulks up and everything. He gets his power from it. So after Michael sort of stabs somebody, he's going to get stronger and stronger. That can't be the same for Chop Top and Leatherface. And Corey's mechanic skills could come in somehow. That's definitely
very good point.
He's good with a blowtorch.
Yeah, he's good with a blowtorch, a tow truck. He's very accessible. And it depends on what Michael Myers, right? Because he's very weak after the Halloween Kills.
It's Ends. This is Ends.
Yeah, so this would be Ends. He was a little bit weak under here, but he probably got more strength the more he killed. So yeah, I think he was very much well reserved by then. And it's tough. Are we gonna say our picks right now, or? We waiting?
You can if you want.
Go for it.
I gotta go with Corey and Michael.
We'll all chime in with the last one.
Yeah, I gotta go with Corey and Michael on this. I think, I don't know, they're more fan favorite to me, but Leatherface and Chop Top got history, their family. They didn't turn on each other so far. Corey and Michael definitely did turn on each other. Yeah, twice or something, stole his mask. And I think the mask gave him powers because Corey was super strong when he went and killed that DJ and everything.
I think that's true. I agree with that theory a lot.
I think there's a lot of people in that mask and they both feed off of it.
Yeah, so the max had something to do with it. They're both more supernatural, in my opinion, as well. I'm going Corey and Michael Myers. Yeah,
I'm gonna let Danny give us his strengths and weaknesses for Corey and Michael. I'm gonna do it too, and then I'll give you guys my pick.
All right. Sure. Well, the strengths here is Corey's got some youth, but he's not got his weaknesses. He doesn't have the experience. Michael's got all the experience, and he is a ruthless killer. His weakness is that he is at the oldest and weakest version of Michael that we've seen to date. With good reason, though. In Halloween Kills, he kicked a lot of fucking ass, but he took the whole town beating him down, and you don't walk away with that completely unscathed. Plus, they burned down his house. I think that was a big motivation for his getting home, was like what he always wanted to do, and they took that away from him. So his will to live is a little weaker. I think Corey gets that spark going again in him. He does want to pass the torch. I think Corey starts off as kind of a worthy vessel for this evil that they both share. But once Corey has too much of his own personal agenda going on, I feel like Michael's like, no, maybe you're not worthy, and that's why he takes it back. But Michael, like I said,
someone wasn't worthy.
Yeah, because Michael in this like scenario, Michael was like, possessed by the evil at a very young age, and he had no strings attached. He was the perfect. Corey has already made relationships and like personal vendettas, so maybe he wasn't the best call. And Michael sees that at the very end of this movie. But Michael is, like I said, ruthless. He knows what he's doing. He just doesn't have the body for it so much. Jamie does kind of kick the shit out of him at the very end, and they grind him up. They do grind him up. Where I say with Leatherface, he was impaled by a chainsaw, and he still kind of lived in a sense. So I don't know. But I would say Michael's got more of a quick, I will kill you. They're way the opposite of the other team, where they're not loud about it. They are killing and violent and quiet and quick about it. So that is both a good thing as well. I don't know if they have Corey is not quite as crazy as Chop Top, but he's learned a lot from Michael, and I think he could hold his own in this fight. I'll let you say what you're gonna say about strengths and weaknesses before I straight up say. Oh, okay.
I'll just do mine after I'm done.
I think I would also I even really love this movie a lot. It's the most undivisive movie, right? Everybody loves it.
I liked it. I'm Team Halloween Ends guy.
We did a stream on why we love Halloween Ends with Drum Dums. It was a lot of fun. Do check it out if you want to hear why we love it.
But
this isn't about our favorite movie.
No, it's not.
About who would win.
I just want to say I love this movie and they're great, but I have to kind of go with Chop Top and Leatherface because Leatherface is so hard to kill. Like I said, and they almost both have Toon Force in that movie. It's so surreal and over the top. It might not be supernatural in the same like spooky way that Halloween Ends is, but it's almost supernatural. Like they're in a fucking cartoon. Like I said, the stuff with the car and they're cutting people's like skulls open with that, and they're driving around, and he gets impaled later with a chainsaw by Dennis Hopper, and he still kind of goes. It's almost like there's Toon Force there, and I kind of have to give it to them. Like
very durable. He's very durable.
Chop Top is a little more of a killer than Corey ever ends up being. I think Corey had potential, but he died so young. Chop Top's just nuts. I think he could take Corey. And even though this is an older Michael Myers, I think there's more Michael Myerses that would take this Leatherface. I don't think it's the strongest Leatherface. He's really hard to kill, like I said, but he's not the most gut kill you in your tense version. But I think he would hold him off enough since it's the old Michael to where Chop Top and then would team up with him and they'd find a way. Because if Jamie can kick their ass, I think Leatherface and Corey can, or not Corey, but Chop Top can. I think Michael would be more of a threat in here, even though he just doesn't have the body for it anymore. So.
Okay, I'm gonna go with strengths and weaknesses for Corey and Michael. So the biggest strength here is Corey and Michael are really vessels for a greater, much older evil. And finally, Halloween Ends was the movie to explore this evil that had been hinted at in films before. This evil needs vessels. It needs strong vessels. It's careful about who it chooses. It finds people who have an innate sense of evil within them. Michael Myers was the perfect vessel, and he held this evil for a really long time. They're symbiotic like Venom and Eddie Brock. But unfortunately, the Michael vessel is getting older, but that does not mean he is weak. We see Michael, he has one really good kill in the movie where, he holds up people like with one hand like he always has. And, maybe it's not as much as he did in Kills, but you try it. Right. Michael, as an old man, still kicks more ass than anybody on this show or anybody watching this show. Michael Myers is a BAMF. Is he at his prime? No, but even a lesser Michael Myers is still motherfucking Michael Myers. He is badass. He has been burned. He has been through all kinds of horror, and Michael Myers never cries, never makes a fucking sound about it. You know, he is fearless. He is not afraid of death because he's driven by something bigger than death. He knows even if his vessel dies, the thing that has fueled him for his entire life will live on. And that is why he is kind of the Obi-Wan to Corey's Anakin, so to speak. Corey is going to be the new vessel. And so Michael Myers knows that essentially what he is truly lives on in this boy. Now, Corey doesn't end up being the vessel that he had hoped he would be. Corey gets killed. Corey is very mortal. He's very new. But he brings something to this that Michael doesn't have. He brings an intense passion. This is somebody who has been really kicked around by society, by Haddonfield. Haddonfield that is infected by people who've become very ugly, people who are very hateful. And he has been the source of this hate. And so he has this passion. He has this fight in him, you know, like an angry pit bull. And ultimately, when he dies, it is his choice because he is doing it out of pure spite and aggression. He becomes like encompassed by this evil. He is a truly just somebody who is just so full of hate. Even though he has this relationship with Allison, he's more about hate than he ever is about love. Yeah. He is also extremely strong. Once this evil takes a hold of him, he crushes someone's damn head with his foot. I would like to see somebody who's a normal mortal person do that. You just can't.
I think in the unrated thing on the deleted scenes, there you had to stomp him out like 4 or 5 times or something. But still impressive. Yeah. I got you. Yeah.
So ultimately, like guys, I told you 1,000 times this isn't a popularity contest. I know you guys, a lot of you hate this movie.
Oh, I love it.
I love it. I'm not biased though, and it comes down to it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's not a popularity contest. I love these boys. I will have dinner with them anytime. I'm a meat eater, and I love this movie.
Grandpa will be there though.
I love Grandpa. Fuck.
One and done.
My cousin wrote one of these movies. My cousin wrote the Leatherface prequel. But I always promised you guys, I've promised you guys from the beginning of the show, I am never going to be biased. I'm looking at the facts. As much as I love these two, they were taken out by one incredibly smart woman, Stretch. They both were taken out by one woman who, honestly, I love Stretch. I could probably hold my own against Stretch in a fight, but she was so clever and so smart. She took out Chop Top and Leatherface by herself. One mortal woman. The evil that is in Corey and Michael is bigger than Stretch. And so when it comes down to it, I think Corey and Michael win.
But didn't Jamie take them both out?
Jamie Lee Curtis is no ordinary mortal. And one, she didn't take them both out. The whole town took Michael to his procession. But Jamie Lee Curtis is OG Final Girl. She is up there with the greats like Sidney Prescott. Yes. She isn't just like Alice, who was in one Friday the 13th movie or two. She is the legend. Laurie Strode. It takes a legend to take out these kind of men.
But
right?
Leatherface survived.
Stretch, I love Stretch. She's in one damn movie.
But Leatherface survived Stretch.
And Leatherface, Bubba, does die in that movie. He comes back, but he always comes back in some kind of incarnation. But he gets a KO at the end of that movie. Stretch single-handedly took out Chop Top and Leatherface. She won that movie. She took that chainsaw. She waved it around like it's like she was freaking saying, yeah, who's got it now, bitch? I mean, she's waving her around like it's a dick.
She had a lot of help from Dennis Hopper.
That was very hot. She was very hot in that movie too.
But he got taken out pretty easily. She is the one who manipulates Leatherface. She's the one who's smart. She handled Leatherface by herself. And Chop Top, she lures him up to the mountain and she kicks his ass off. Physically and mentally, she was superior to her opponents.
But Hopper's the one that impaled.
I disagree.
What?
I think she would have been able to kill him anyway because she had Leatherface wrapped around her damn finger. He thought that was his girlfriend. I don't think she needed him.
Yeah, but he's not going to think Corey's his girlfriend. Corey's a cute guy, but he's not going to.
I don't think so. But I think that these guys
very
are
handsome.
Stronger. I think physically they are stronger, and Corey is a manipulative little shit.
But that's not going to work on Chop Top.
Maybe. That's my vote. You are entitled to your vote.
All right, I just wanted to point out that there was help on both sides because I don't think neither of them were beaten by just one person.
Yes.
Both teams. I think Lori had some help with her.
Honestly,
as well.
Stretch and Dennis Hopper, whose character I can't remember, would be a great tag team. And heroes battle.
Yeah,
tag
maybe
team.
we need to do
We need
the
more
Survivor
tag team.
Heroes team side of this coin.
And guys, I'm happy that this vote is so close because this is a true main event.
Oh,
This is
yeah,
what we
that's what
watch
this-
wrestling for. This is one where you don't know where it's gonna go, and half the time I think Chop Top and Leatherface are gonna get it.
Oh.
I'm giving the edge to Corey and Michael because there's something about Chop Top and Leather that's so human and so lovable, but also that is a vulnerability and it's a weakness and it can be manipulated. I don't think we have a lot of humanity in the Corey and Michael team.
That's the thing, but also Corey and Michael do turn on each other. Corey did get
That's a
himself,
good
in a
point.
sense, he did get himself killed, but I don't think he was actually thinking that slicing his own throat was going to kill him. I think he knew with that mask and the evil in him that he would survive that like most slashers could.
I wonder if he
It's
can
when-
come back too,
it's
like
when-
Michael has.
When
Sorry.
Michael took
I
that
would
evil
love it.
back and the mask and snapped his neck, he looked like genuinely worried then. Like, no, wait, no, this is not the plan. And that's the last look he has before he takes, because he's like, you're taking the evil, that evil, he was confident enough he would survive with that evil in him. That, okay, oh yeah, I'll slice my throat, and that way your granddaughter will love me and think that you did this and all that shit. That was his plan, but he was going to survive it the whole time until Michael's like, nah, never mind. You got strings attached here. I don't want this. There's too much drama, too much luggage with you, Corey. And they're not family.
I'm telling you, they are Obi-Wan and Anakin. He's
They
like,
are.
bitch, you too crazy.
Anakin was too crazy, but Anakin made it way higher.
And
in
everyone
success.
hates Corey like everyone hated Anakin.
Yeah,
I'm
but-
telling you, it's perfect.
Anakin got to be Vader. Corey did not.
Mhm.
That's the
Time
difference
will
here.
tell.
Well, I guess. But they turn on each other. Where Chop Top and Leatherface are family. And what's family? The Saw is
Saw.
family.
Yeah. So they have
I
better
think he makes
teamwork.
I think
I
honestly,
think you make a really good point about the teams. Leather and Chop Top are ride or die forever.
Mhm.
They go down together.
Yeah.
And they did go down together in that fight. However, they still got taken out. They are a
Leatherface,
better
he
team,
left
though,
him.
whereas
He
Corey and
left his
Michael
ass.
turn against each other.
Yeah. I think honestly though, just saying
I'm
this,
still going with Corey and Michael though. Brian,
Hmm.
who was your vote again? I forgot.
Oh, I said Corey and Michael Myers. I mean, Supernatural. He's
Up,
got
dude. Yeah,
Ah.
you and me got this.
yeah,
The
it's
other way, I
like
think
he's
it's
supernatural. He's gonna stab. He's gonna
And
stab
actually,
one of those
you
guys
guys,
off the bat. Get
Just
strong,
remember,
Hulk
you don't
up.
right? We don't always team up on that. I do think that Corey and Michael would have taken almost everybody else on the lineup so far. I think there's maybe like one other team that I would argue against them. That's we've
Yes.
talked about so far tonight. But I
It's
think
just
Corey
a
and
first
Michael-
round matchup that's very tough.
This is a main event for a reason. I think Corey and Michael are a great team. I think they would have taken like a lot of the other teams we've talked about tonight. I
Mhm.
just think, like I said, Leatherface, he did get KO'd, but he didn't get put in a meat grinder at the end of this. He does come back. He does survive Dennis Hopper, in a sense, impaling him. And Chop Top is there more for him than Corey is for Michael. And this is Old Man Michael. If this wasn't Old Man Michael, I think we'd be telling a different story here. But this is like Leatherface almost in his prime of his life, where it's Michael Myers at the end of his life. So that's why I have to vote that way.
I'm so surprised on these results so far. Corey and Michael actually losing. Oh man, 60-40. It's
Did you vote?
I voted. I need more accounts.
I want to say so far.
Well, we're
Damn
not
it.
encouraging the cheating. Oh, I hit
No.
the microphone. We're not
That's what
encouraging
she. Oh,
cheating.
sorry.
I vote one time. We all get one vote.
Yeah.
You get one, as Spider-Man says. You get one.
Damn it.
Everyone gets one.
Come on,
it's
guys.
really
Corey
close.
and Michael.
I do like as hated as Corey as hated as Halloween Ends is, and I know you guys.
Who hates
You-
this movie? Everybody loves it.
Daniel
least
Keith
divisive
Garrett, but
movie
thought
that
you
Yeah.
went
this
your
has
night
ever
in.
had.
You know what I'm talking about. Okay,
Box
as hated
office,
as this
dude. It
movie,
made
I
way
really
more
think
than
you
Texas
guys
Chainsaw
are being
Part
pretty
2.
fair. Overall, do remember though to vote for who you think would win, and I think honestly half the time Chop Top and Leather do win. They are the team. They're the team. If this was wrestling, I would be rooting for them. They're the ones who I think are the fan favorites. Ultimately, though, it comes down to a lot of times when I can't decide who am I more scared of. I feel like I could manipulate Chop Top and Leather. I think I'd be screwed against Corey and Michael.
I think he might have a small chance of manipulating Corey, not Michael. I don't think he honestly would have a chance with Chop Top. He loves blood way more than he loves anything else. And yeah, Mike, and this version of Leatherface, you could probably manipulate a little bit. But would you manipulate him enough to turn on his own brother? turn on the family. I don't know.
Honestly, Bubba was kind of like, "What? I could get some, maybe."
Yeah.
I feel like I'll sneak you out back. Not I will kill my brother for you.
He
loves
might
his
bull.
brother.
Yeah. And they seem to bully on him a lot too.
Yeah,
so I
they
could
do.
see
They
him like
do.
turning
Not as
on
bad
him.
as part 1, where he's
Yeah.
literally beaten with a broom.
Yeah.
This one, it's more like Bubba's got a girlfriend. Bubba's got a
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Oh, like friendly teasing. Yeah.
It's more like how my brothers and I tease each other.
Yeah.
And then in part 3, people show him respect in that one.
Honestly, I don't think we can compare it to the ones after, because
Yeah,
Bubba in part 2, I almost put him down as Bubba. Bubba is different than part 1. He's different than Next Generation.
Yeah.
Honestly, Leatherface, I feel, is such an iconic character, but it really is a different being in every
This
film.
one's very good.
Like, comparing it to the one my cousin wrote, the prequel, it's a different character.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at it as Bubba, and as far as I'm concerned, Bubba dies at the end of the film.
I can't quite say that, but I will say he gets KO'd at the film, and yeah, he's very.
I'd like to
from then
see
on.
Bubba come back, and I'd love to see.
I would
Chop
love
come
a
back.
straight
Also,
sequel to this movie.
How cool is it that Bill Moseley's on this lineup twice?
That's what I'm saying. He
Such
might
an
make
icon.
it to the, he might be fighting himself in the finals. We might see that.
Bill Moseley, cheers to you, my buddy.
We haven't had a vote in a long time. I think you should probably.
I've met him. He is a treasure. So, Brian, I just want to make sure, is there anything you want to add before I go to the chat?
Any what?
Anything you want to add before I go to the chat? I just want to make sure that you had a chance to like get your.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Michael and Corey, but doesn't seem like it. Oh, it's very close. I thought they would cruise to the finals. I thought it was going to be Billy and Stu on one end and Michael and Corey, and both my first round solid locks to win it are almost out in the first round. So
I love you. You're like me at the beginning of Fight Night, where I still believe that my picks would make it.
yeah.
And you know what?
Oh
Now I
man,
just
very.
What I believe in. Sometimes I change my mind when I'm convinced by another party. But you know, it's fine. I always respect the chat. But you know, I hold true to my convictions too, and as should you, my friend Brian. As should you.
Yes.
I'm calling you my friend now because I think we're friends.
Yeah.
We're
Right.
all friends here. We're all
friends.
family here. We're all saw.
Oh, you guys are soft. Okay, I'm going to check on the chat so you guys know what that means. That means as soon as I'm done reading your comments, I am calling the vote. Whether I like it or not, I always respect what you guys have to say. Okay. Jason Evans, B-Movie Coven, says, hell yeah, Gory, I'm in your corner. Thank you, Jason. You rule. Corey and the Shape says Afro Whale. Michael and Corey Cunningham equals Ric Flair and David Flair.
That's not a compliment when it comes to the David Flair.
I'm saying they're not complimenting them. I'm saying it equals Ric Flair and Charlotte Flair.
That would have been better.
Can
if
I get a
compliment
hell
was
yeah, bro?
Yeah, right. Charlotte, not David.
David Flair,
No.
sorry.
I don't think he's
read
wrestled in
Wayne's
20
comment.
years. I don't know.
Wayne is very much against the Corey and Michael.
No.
Dino says, actually, Leatherface and Chop Top, not supernatural like Michael Myers, but I'm going Chop Top and Leatherface.
Oh, come on, Lele Horse Show.
Says Corey couldn't even beat Sam. You discredit Sam. Sam honestly is like lulls on
Like
our
trick or
show.
treat? Yeah, I mean, Sam would honestly take a lot of these people, I think.
I honestly think
Mhm.
Sam's kind of OP.
Just give him candy, though. And he'll go.
Yeah, Sam is very strict to the rules, though. So you follow the rules, you got nothing to worry about. Corey got
Yeah,
bullied
that's a
by
good point.
Stand chance for him in there. But I will say, Mr. Flickster, Corey was in this process of evolving to his peak.
He killed those kids.
That was his origin story. He ended up killing those guys. So I agree to an extent, but I also think that that's not the Corey that we're talking about in this fight.
No.
Kevin says, sounds like a second string fight. Maybe it should have been Stretch versus Roller Store. I love that, Kevin. By the way, Haunted by Horror is a great YouTube channel. Do check it out if you haven't already. Mr. Flickster says, Chop Top and Leatherface know how to work a meat grinder. Laugh out loud. I love that.
Yeah, they throw him in there.
My friend the Torchbearer says, I voted for Leatherface and Chop Top. Also, they admit Bill Moseley too. Torchbearer is one of our local friends here in Washington State, so I'm sure they met them at Crypticon last year. He's a treasure. He's just a lovely man.
He's wearing a Guar shirt, and I had my Guar jacket. I had to get a picture with him. That's not the first time I even met him either.
By the way, if you haven't met him, you can actually go to Bill Moseley's website and order an autograph there. He's really great to his fans. He's on Twitter. He'll talk to you. He's a real sweetheart.
Yeah.
And finally, Kevin says, Otis, Firefly versus Chop Top would be a pretty badass fight. I agree.
It might end up happening. It
We
might
just
end up happening.
Get it. So I'm calling it. Danny, will you tell us who the winner is?
It is the family, of course, the bloodline. You can't beat them. Sorry, Corey Zane, but you got chopped up. Chop Top and Leatherface are taking it at least to the next round.
I'm gonna get you with a chainsaw. All right, guys. So in round 2, it goes a little bit faster each round. We're gonna have Baby Firefly and Otis versus Jason and Pamela Voorhees. Jigsaw and Hoffman versus Chop Top and Leatherface. Bring it on. The second round goes a lot faster because we do not need to reintroduce you to their strengths and weaknesses. We're just going to hit you with who we think is going to win.
Yeah.
So it goes a lot faster from here. I'm excited.
It's all downhill.
It's Bryan's first fight.
Semifinals.
Brian's first fight night, and you're killing it, Bryan. You're killing
Oh, very cool. Thank you.
All right.
Well, not with my picks. God damn it. Shit.
Hey, I like that you are passionate and that you stick by your picks. And honestly, you've had very good arguments for why all of your picks would win. So
Yeah, well.
That first match and the second last match, I had disagreed in the sense of who would win the most times, but I do not think they were close either time. Like I do think they were close. Like if they fought 100 times, I think there'd be plenty of casualties and both wins on both sides. I just had to go with who I think would win the most.
Yep.
And honestly, we even have those ones where all of us agree and the chat disagrees. Ultimately, they decide. But I think everyone has made really good points, and I don't disagree with anything you or Danny has said. You guys have made really awesome points. This is going to be an interesting fight.
All right, so what's this one? It's Baby and it's the Firefly versus.
This is going to be Baby and Otis Firefly versus Pamela and Jason Voorhees.
Ooh.
Oh shit!
That's a good one.
It just got real. Brian, you start us off.
All right, I'll start it off. Baby and Otis. I'm surprised they even got by Billy and Stu, but sure, granted, that's what you guys voted for. I gotta probably the edge goes to Pamela and Jason Voorhees. Gotta say it. I mean, they're gonna drag him in the water. I mean, she's old, but I think they have other powers. They have other strengths that we're not aware of yet. And come on, Jason Voorhees, he's on the Mount Rushmore slashers and everything.
Absolutely.
Probably not the kid version of him,
but
he's on there.
Interject and ask you a very quick question because I love to ask this question. Who is your Mount Rushmore slashers? You are slasher in suits, so I have to know your answer.
Yeah, well, of course you gotta go with like the big 3. I think everyone could agree it's like Michael, Freddie, and Jason.
Yeah,
but your fourth slot, that's
interesting.
Yeah.
The fourth slot's where the big debate is. Do you put
Chucky?
What
do you have?
Do you put Leatherface? I mean, it switches. I think it's almost like a power ranking. It's like who, because Freddie's on a drought, dude. He's so dry right now.
He's so old. He made such a mark during his run that
yes, he did though.
He's earned his spot.
At least 4 marks.
And I don't know, man. And with all this box office, you can even say Ghostface goes on that 4th spot. So
I love that.
That's not a bad 4th spot.
What about
yeah,
yours?
that's not. But Leatherface sort of started it off and kicked it off as well. So you can't have it without the OG. So yeah, I don't have a definite answer. Then I could put I could be argued that Ghostface goes on there or Leatherface. Chucky is almost like the B League one. He'll be on the B League.
Jason,
he's on the other mountain on the other side.
I'm gonna say Jason, Freddie, Chucky, and I'm gonna say Ghostface. Jason, Leather, Chucky, and Ghostface.
I'm gonna go with
Michael doesn't get a spot.
Oh wait, no, you're right. Jason, Freddie, Michael, and Chucky.
All right, that's mine. But I want to say that's because Leatherface isn't always in necessarily slasher movies.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
I do think that Leatherface gets his own like Lincoln Memorial. That's what
there you go. Yeah,
of them all because he came first.
Yeah, he's a little different. He's not necessarily always a slasher. He's usually in like these other type of movies that aren't all straight slashers. It's Chucky. Chucky is more of a slasher, and he's always Chucky, not the buddy.
That's why y'all married.
But well, I mean,
he had me at Chucky.
Ghostface.
Yeah, Chucky.
Ghostface doesn't matter who's wearing the mask, and I do think there is a supernatural element to Ghostface in a sense. I think that there's this hatred for Sydney and her mom and stuff that actually possesses them, and that's kind of why, because they've had a ghost mom in part 3, they've had Ghost Billy in the newest one. I do think there's this evil. That's why they all act the same. They all get they all fight the same. They all sound the same. They're all the same size underneath the suit almost. And I think there's this like almost a supernatural element to it, like kind of like in not Glass, but what was the other one? Third movie, the second movie in M. Night Shyamalan. There was Unbreakable,
Split.
Kind of like that, where like their body almost morphs into the beast underneath that suit, where they're almost always the same person. They all sound the same on the phone. I know there's a voice changer, but the voice changer doesn't make you talk the same. Like, doesn't make you like have the same wit, the same mind. So I think the Ghostface almost is there, but since it is different people technically, he doesn't.
Oh, you did that comment. Late Horse Show says Pinhead, get the fuck out of here. He's on the B. He's on the B mountain. He's next to Chucky.
It's very subjective, and I think Pinhead absolutely could be on there. But we got off on a tangent. So I love that Mount Rushmore question. Right. I love your guys' answers.
A little halftime break.
But Bryan, lead us into why you think Pamela and Jason are gonna win.
I mean, like I said, he's on the Mount Rushmore, even though he's a kid, and they're way more supernatural. I mean, he even popped up at what? Jason Takes Manhattan. He came out of that bathroom mirror, so he has like
vision.
His
best friend is his mother.
Yeah, or after the raw sewage, he became Kid Jason. I mean,
they almost fought the Ninja Turtles. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Why is that not happen?
It almost did, because when New Line Cinema acquired the Ninja Turtle movie, it was like already made, but like they were trying to they're making an independent movie there. And they were using a Disney lot that they were renting to make it. And almost no studio would touch the Ninja Turtle movie. They're like, it's way too dark. Even Playmates, the toy company, was mad at the movie being made. They're like, we're not making any toys for this. It's going to kill the franchise. Like, the cartoon is already great, and the comic is dark, but we're trying to hide that. The movie is too dark. It's like too much for that. So New Line came in at the very end and said, you know what? We don't care. We will buy it, because if it works for kids, we'll make a sequel. And they even made a sequel because it did work for kids. It did great in the theaters. It was like the highest grossing indie movie for the longest time there. But they were like, the reason why we're taking a chance on this is because we also just bought Jason, and he's in Manhattan. So if it doesn't work for kids, we'll just make them fight Jason. And they even had a group of people getting ready to do that if that was the need be to go to. Like, they already were trying to come up with like a movie and stuff. They already had people working on it if that was where they were going to go. Ninja Turtles almost fought Jason because
Jason, they set up the Ash stuff. They set up the Ninja Turtle stuff. Both of those, I would have loved to see, dude.
I would have been great. But at the same time,
that Marvel movie bullshit where he set up movies that never happened.
Right,
Bryan, I have to recommend. I think it's Knightmare Warriors, where it was Ash versus all of them, right?
Ash versus Freddy versus Jason. That's what the comics actually do. Because when they were making Freddy versus Jason,
it's a comic, though. You would love it.
Yeah, I heard also Pinhead was supposed to be at the end of that one.
Yes.
Yeah,
there were so many ideas originally. They wanted a big tournament where they were going to have like Ass versus Leatherface and a chainsaw match. They were going to do all kinds of stuff, like a bunch of movies, but they obviously couldn't do that with all the rights.
Hey, Bryan, check it out. Man's here.
But they were like,
hey, man, how's it going? She's
Freddy
great.
versus Jason versus Ash. But,
Jason?
Yeah. But Bruce Campbell said it was like the shortest phone call he had about a movie. He's like, well, how much control over the Ash character do me and Ted get? Or Raimi, and they're like, well, we already have like the idea, so none. And they're like, and you're like, all right, sorry, no. And he hung up, but they still managed to get the comic book at least.
Bunch of red tape bullshit.
Bryan, we keep going off on tangents.
I know.
Oh, sure.
So why do you think Pamela and Jason would win? So they're the Mount Rushmore. What else?
Oh, just Pam. It's a better. Pamela is.
I see the conflict.
Stronger, maybe. But those other two are very adorable. But I don't know, man. I can't go against Jason Voorhees. We still don't know all of his powers. We know that those two are very human, even though they got shot up. And you guys made great points in the previous round. They're crazier. I just like Pamela and Jason more. That's how I get my vote. I don't have to make sense. That's how I voted. I mean, I agree with their politics and their policies, and that's why I'm voting for them.
I love it. I love it, Brian. Danny, hit me with what you got.
All right. So, all right. And we're going, in a sense, to a KO here. I'm going to have to give it to the Fireflies. I think Pamela does have the skills and the like they wouldn't suspect her is a big threat, and she could probably kill one of them. She is very crafty and sneaky. And they wouldn't probably see it from someone like her coming, that she's just as deranged and evil as they are. They are both physically stronger and better, like in a sense of a fight with her than she is. So I think she could honestly take one of them. And Kid Jason ain't really gonna do shit. He's gonna see it happen. He's gonna see his mom die. There's even a chance that they're gross. They'd probably even defile her in a way.
Yes.
And I have to, that's the KO right there, because they do that. They do it all the time. They do nasty, gross stuff. But that is what they're gonna even KO Kid Jason in this fight. But that doesn't. If it was in the long run, we're not going that. We're going to the KO, so I have to give it to him. They're gonna be stalked by the adult Jason, who is supernatural, and he will get revenge for Mama Voorhees in the long run.
Some of these characters that are a bit supernatural, like Jason Voorhees, who we know is going to come back, we just go to a KO. Even Baby and Otis, Firefly, them getting rained with bullets, that's a KO.
Yeah.
So for this one, we absolutely have to go to just a KO, because I don't think anyone's truly dead at the end of this.
And I think if these teams fight 100 times, Baby and Otis are going to get that KO initially, at least 80% of the time. I think Pamela does have some tricks up her sleeve. She could potentially take them on, most likely one every once in a while, like one of them. But the other two, once they know she's a threat, they're very ruthless. When they know there's a threat there, they go right for that KO. And I think they're going to get that KO almost every time here. But like I said, if we're going in the long run, if this was a long con, Uber Jason's going to come after them later. It's a
yeah. Well, that's like 300 years in the future.
Ask Alice. You do not want to win this fight. You do not want to kill Mama Voorhees. It will get you in the end. But for this purpose and this team up with the ones we're going with, Kid Jason only, I have to give it to Baby and Otis. I hate
Danny, I'm right with you. I obviously, my love for Friday the 13th. Hell, I played a Pamela Voorhees character on Horror Addicts Friday the 13th A. I adore that movie. It's one of my all-time favorites. And I do love Rob Zombie, but to be honest, my favorite is definitely not The Devil's Rejects, which everyone loves. I like House of a Thousand Corpses. And
Three from Hell's awesome once they get to Mexico.
Good, yeah.
And when I rewatch that, I just go all the way there, and that's where I started.
I think his best movie is Halloween 2. Hate me if you want. I don't care. But unfortunately, I think you're right. It's not about the war, it's about the battle. And Baby and Otis win the battle. They would be able to decapitate Pamela. They would be able to defeat Jason, who's never killed anyone. In the war, Jason comes back and kills them both.
Oh, it's a curse to win that
Jason wins the war. But this is the battle.
Yeah. They can't kill Jason as a kid. They can't kill him.
Let's look at what Pamela's going up against. She's going against horny teenagers working at a summer camp. These are two ruthless killers who are not only well experienced, but they're also very creative in where they and how they kill. They're also a lot stronger than Pamela. Pamela is outmatched here. So I absolutely think Baby and Otis are going to win. Like I said, the war, Jason every time.
Jason is already dead. He's already dead.
I agree.
He can't die.
A KO. A KO. If they decapitate Jason, if they do anything to him, he's KO'd. He will come back. You and I know he's going to come back. We know that. But that's a KO.
That's all they need.
And that's all they need to win this. So I vote Baby and Otis.
I mean, he could pull him in the water, but he did that to Alice and she was fine. There's no hungry crocodile this time. So I have to just say they're going to kill his mom probably right in front of him because they're gross. They're gonna. Are
you guys related to Rob Zombie or something? Are you like a member of their fan club? I can't believe they're winning this
honestly, Brian, I go on kicks because we have a lot of movies and sometimes I just get on a kick And
Yeah.
I watched all of Rob Zombie's movies last year, and because I love horror so much, I always want to tell my best friend about it. And I'm like, oh, Rob Zombie, this, Rob Zombie. He's like, Haley, I love you, but I can't handle any more Rob Zombie talk. Please stop talking to me about it. I'm like, God damn it.
I can't believe these are going. They're going to the finals. If this
No, Bryan,
wins,
I understand. I think Rob Zombie is a great filmmaker. I think his writing needs a bit of work.
Yeah,
but when it comes to these characters, because he wrote them as so OP, which is something I don't actually love about them. I don't love that they're so unstoppable. I want them to lose. But the way he wrote them, unfortunately, I think they win.
That's what I hate to say about this. They're the main characters in their movie. That's the big problem here.
That's what I hate too, because
there's no final girls or nothing.
Most of the people on this roster are not the main characters. They're the antagonists.
He wants us to sympathize with these really disgusting people.
They're not, I wouldn't say they're the protagonists by any means, but they are still the main character.
Almost like anti-heroes.
Yeah.
But you don't love them.
Yeah. In Rob Zombie's eyes, they're stone cold and they're dropping stunners everywhere.
They're the cleaners or something.
I have to say, it's like Roman Reigns. You know, I don't particularly like the guy, but when it comes to his matches, he's probably going to win. Do I like it? No. But I also want to win money when he wins. So I'm going with Roman Reigns on this one, guys. It sucks. It sucks. But Baby and Otis are Roman Reigns, and they're going to win. Bryan's just like, this sucks.
It does, but that's the point.
All right, Pamela, she's pretty much off the table. I think they could probably kill Pamela, but you can't kill Kid Jason. You can't.
I love your pure slasher heart. Your pure don't ever change, man.
Yes, you can't kill Kid Jason. It's impossible.
But you can KO Jason no matter his age.
Don't change him. All right, let him be.
All right, they might win the battle, but they won't win the war.
Exactly, and I agree with you there. But that's not the point of this.
All right.
Oh, guys, so we've got 2 comments. Only 2 comments. You've been pretty quiet in the chat. Torchbearer says he's going to be meeting Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell next month. That's awesome, dude.
Is he going to the Bruce Fest? And
tell me where that is, because I'd love to meet them too.
I think it might be.
And Horror Collector says Otis will kick Kid Jason like a football.
You Charlie Brown.
And Baby's holding it and does the Lucy thing. Okay, we are ending it, and it looks like Baby and Otis are going to the semifinals.
I'm not proud of my
Your chat does it to spite me. They're spiting me right now with all my picks. My number ones are out. They're just going, whoever this guy is, I don't know what he's up to, but no. Anything I go with, they're going the opposite.
We're gonna have you back, and I swear they're not biased. They're just they're very passionate.
They're so shocking.
That biasly, this would be a lot different.
They have no loyalties. They have voted against me. They vote against Danny. They vote for what they want.
Both Ash Williams and Buffy Summers died.
Fan Expo in Portland. We should check that out.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh, Portland.
Dang,
dude, there's horror conventions everywhere. I'm going to one next week. Hopefully gonna meet the cast of Terrifier 2. That's gonna be awesome.
That's so cool, Bryan. Make a video, man.
Yeah, I want to see.
Oh, well, maybe some shorts. You know, I don't know.
That's killer.
Oh, Matthew Lillard, Skeet Ulrich is gonna be there too. That's gonna be dope. I don't know. I won't pay money to take a photo with them, but I don't know.
Yeah, Danny met Bruce at a book signing, and his little sister at the time was like, what, 14?
Yeah.
She went up to him and she's like, your name's Campbell because you're good.
And she filmed it too. She had a camcorder, as she said, and he looks up at her and he's like, thanks.
No.
Guys, as we move into the semifinals, I want to remind you, I think a lot of you you've seen my Dashing Husband many times. You know Horror Addicts TV is awesome. You can also find me there if you happen to want to see more of me. But Bryan's a new friend of mine. I love Bryan. He's got a killer show. I love his kill counts. He covers a lot of different movies. He even did
both your channels.
Awesome. My son and I enjoyed that one a lot, Bryan.
Oh, which one?
Glass Onion. My son and I enjoyed that one a lot.
Oh, cool.
But do check out his channel. Not only is he doing these awesome, fun kill counts, but he's got a lot of stuff going on there. It's really a fun channel. You can find him at Slasher in Suits You can also find that in the description below, but absolutely check him out. He is
What else?
really
I got Knock at the Cabin. I'm gonna do one about that coming up.
Oh, buddy, guess what? I found out Knock at the Cabin is based on a book by Paul Tremblay called Cabin at the End of the World. So I'm going to read that this week.
I'm still M. Night supporter. I like the old.
I do too.
I like the old. I don't know. People are hating on him. I like the happening. So what?
Me too. Brian,
I like it. I don't care what you guys think.
I'm rarely bored during M. Night Shyamalan, even if it's not good. Even
That's
if it could be garbage.
Did you like Split?
Never bored.
I think Lady of the Lake was the most kind of boring, but it was still.
Oh yeah. Never mind.
And I think Connie's saying hi to you, Danny.
I mean, the last couple of movies, like Split was cool, Glass sucked, but
Visit was awesome.
I loved Split. I loved Unbreakable. Why did the twist in Glass is like, oh, if you're a fan of these movies, here, let me piss on your face. That's the twist of the movie. You like these characters? Let me just make your day the worst. That's the twist of that one.
All right, boys, are you ready to find out who's going to go against Baby and Otis in the semifinals?
Woo,
I know who I'm rooting for. I think it's going to be fun. So we've got Jigsaw and Hoffman versus Chop Top and Leatherface. Brian, why don't you go first? Tell us. We'll just go through both of them. We're going to talk about. Tell us who you think is going to win in this fight.
All right, so it's Baby Otis and versus
Jigsaw and Hoffman versus Chop Top and Leatherface.
He's already turning on him.
That's
already,
even before they're a team.
Yeah, he's got cancer that can't help with you. Man, I know whatever I say, your audience is going opposite.
No, have faith in it.
They're going the opposite. They're like, we don't respect this guy's opinion.
Have faith in them.
Yeah, I will. And
gory hole, trust me, when you get to the gory hole, you're like, it's a big bloody mess. I don't know if I want to. You dip a toe in, you're like, this is gross. You submerge yourself, you feel the warmth of the gory hole.
They're not going to spite you. They might not always agree, but it's not out of spite.
They're true.
Yeah, I know. I have that effect on brackets, I guess. Awesome, all right, so it's Hoffman and them versus Baby Otis. So we're already on that.
Chop Top and Leather versus Hoffman and Jigsaw.
You gotta go Leatherface. Leatherface and Chop Top. I mean, yeah, I did vote for him in the first one, but this is who we got. Jigsaw's already got cancer. And I think they would be immune to any of these traps. They cut themselves, man. Exactly. You know, like if it's anything like, hey, I gotta lose an arm or something to get out of a trap, they might even do that for fun and get out. So it's like I don't think they're. Yeah, they will do anything. They will do anything, and the chainsaw will definitely have to come into effect. I don't think Hoffman, they're not ready for that crazy style. I think Styles makes fights. They have the perfect style to sort of defeat them, and that's why I'm going Chop Top and Leatherface.
I love it.
I have to agree.
Really quick,
I gotta go to the bathroom, though. We've been going, so I'll be back.
Really quick, I want to give a big thank you to Connie Clearly, who gave us a super chat. Thank you so much, Connie. And I made these brand new videos. I want to thank you. Here is. Thank you, Connie.
I love that dance. I like her little bird. I don't know if it's her pet, but I think that's a cute little
Is it just me, or when you see people's profile pictures, that's what you picture them speaking like? I picture a bird talking to me.
I picture it as her pet, but I don't know if it is her pet. I just think it's a cute bird.
Whenever she says anything, I picture the little bird. And I love that. I love birds.
I used to have a couple of parakeets, so I don't know if I think that's a parakeet.
Guys, I got awesome videos. So just to thank you when you guys give me super chats. If you want to see one for you, I've got plenty more.
I love the skeleton dance.
Thank you, my love. And Jason Evans says the only M. Night film I walked out on was The Visit, which it was apparent that the film dealt with Alzheimer's. It was too triggering for me. I was a sole caregiver for you know what? Movies ultimately, I think we're looking for entertainment, and I think it's okay to be challenged, but if it pushes you into a place that you're not wanting to go, absolutely, you get to choose what you watch, and I absolutely respect that.
Yeah, fair enough.
A movie I watched that pushed me a little too far was The Girl Next Door. I absolutely respected what they were trying to do, but I didn't want to be challenged in that way.
I did a review for The Visit. It took me about 2 years to actually get it out. Actually, it took me a lot longer than that if you think about it, because when we first filmed the little opening for it.
Can I leave you while I take a potty break?
The reason why it took me so long to edit it is because it's the only video that my grandma appeared in the opening, and she passed away, so it was really hard for me to edit the video and get it out. But I do actually love The Visit. I do understand why you might have to go out of that, though. Because, yeah, that's tough, and it's a little too close to home sometimes. I'm gonna go ahead and say right now, though, I agree with Slasher Suits and Suits, because all right, I think there are the traps once again. I think there's some great traps. Hoffman and Jigsaw are at the end of those traps, but I think Chop Top and Leatherface could actually make it through said traps. They will suffer bodily damage. They will laugh and giggle their way through them, though. They will cut through some of those traps with their chainsaw. This saw is family, and I'm sorry, but Jigsaw is no match for the chainsaw. I think when they get there, even with the, like I said, this version of Leatherface survived in a sense being impaled by a chainsaw. I don't think most of these traps are going to do enough bodily damage to them. With the strangers, like I said, I've seen them die by mortal wounds. This version of Jigsaw, Leatherface and Chop Chop have Toon Force in a sense. They're going to get through their bloody as crazy, but Hoffman and Jigsaw on his deathbed are not going to be any match for them. If at the very least, maybe they could take out Chop Top, but then you got a berserk mode of Leatherface, and he's just gonna chop up anything in his path.
Oh, Connie says that's her pet bird. I'd love to know its name. I love animals. I have 2 terrier dogs. We just saw my dog Brocky. We also have his brother Brewster, a cat named Kirby, and a jumping spider named Renfield. And I'm so glad you love that, Connie. I've got loads more, and I greatly appreciate your support. I'm so happy my friend Ben Grimm is here. And thank you, Afro. He's an adorable dog. That's my familiar Brocky. He's my right-hand man. He says it looks like his dog's Snoop.
Ride or die.
Awesome. Yeah. That guy who was in Sorry to Bother You, he played Snoop in Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, there you go. Like I said, maybe with the strangers, I can only see like the masked man making it to the end. Where I think in this, both Chop Chop and Leatherface could make it through the traps. Yeah, they're gonna be beat up and hurt, but they're gonna love it. They're gonna enjoy it. They're gonna be bloody, and that's their element. Hoffman, at the very least, could maybe take out a wounded Chop Top. That's just gonna piss off Leatherface.
Sorry for the echo. I think it's actually coming from Slasher and Suit side because it's from his speakers. Thank you. My husband's last name is Knightmare. I guess we did that conjoined together Knightmare movie. I'm so sorry, Connie. She says he passed away in September, 12 years ago when it happened. I'm so sorry.
You got 12 years.
Jason says I'm with you 100%. Jigsaw and Hoffman are goners. So you've done your pick, right, for this fight?
Go ahead and do yours.
Let me get that vote in the chat.
You're the one that hasn't told about y'all.
You know, I'm mysterious like that.
Yeah, right?
I'm a mysterious lady. I'm actually not at all mysterious. I'm an open book.
I feel like their traps would work on a lot of people in this lineup, but it's
I'm
just
calling this
working.
the Saw team versus the Chainsaw team.
Yeah. It's family regardless, right?
Honestly, I think Jigsaw and Hoffman, it's a very good team. It's experience. You need a little bit more experience. They've got traps. They've got police procedures, police backing. They have engineering, but it's such a cold team. There's no love in this team. There's no loyalty. Even before they started, nobody trusts anybody, and ultimately, that's the Saw team's downfall. The engineering things that make this team great are all so I have to agree with Danny. Bryan, by the way, can you turn down your speakers a little bit because we're hearing a bit of an echo?
Oh, sure.
Thanks, buddy. So I'm gonna go with Chop Top and Leather. One, Saw's family. These guys are ride or die. They are brothers. They are also complete and total wild cards. Whereas Jigsaw and Hoffman, it's a very procedural team. And I feel like they cannot handle the wild cardness that is this family. This family is going to catch them off guard. This family would actually enjoy the traps. They are sadists.
Yeah.
They are masochists. They're all of the things. They would enjoy it, and it wouldn't really bother them at all. It's a Tuesday. Ultimately, Hoffman and Jigsaw are going to be part of that chili, and that's my vote.
I would say, like I said, Jigsaw, he's playing chess when everybody else is playing checkers. Doesn't matter. Chop Top and Leatherface don't even know how to play checkers or chess. They know how to flip the board over and saw the person on the other end of the table. That's what they know how to do. And they're insane. And like I said, they have a bit of a tune force. If you watch their movie and you're putting the part 2 of Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a crazy ass movie where it just defies physics. And that's what's going with them on this. The Saw movie will not know how to be prepared for that.
Bryan, who's your vote?
I'll read the chat. Who's being their kids? No, it's my son. He was crying right now.
Oh no, is your son okay?
He had a poop diaper, and he's
poor guy.
He's gotta go back to bed.
Am I allowed to ask what your son's name is? If you don't want to share on a stream, that's okay.
The what?
What's your son's name?
Oh, Quentin.
Oh, you told me that before. That's such a cool name.
There you go.
Well, yeah, it's either after Tarantino or Rampage.
That was one of the names we considered for my son, but it means fifth. So I was like, well, maybe if I have 5 kids. Never did. Just the one. He was a handful.
Does Quentin Tarantino have siblings?
No, but it's a cool name. It's a really cool name. Awesome.
Thank you.
If you have to go for your son, absolutely. Family comes first.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I actually, family. Yeah, I got till 10 o'clock.
All right. Let's
I gotta
go
pick
in
somebody
there.
up at the airport. They're coming in this late too.
That's awesome. That you got family coming in and stuff. So
after this, only one more match. So
yeah, who do you vote for?
I think he said
I voted the Chainsaw team. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna check in with the chat, and we only have one comment, so get those votes in, guys. And I'm calling it quick. Actually, I don't have any comments.
It seems 92%. This is the most lopsided fight.
This was a squash match. Surprisingly, Chop Top and Leather win. They are going into the semifinals, guys. This is the most
Bill Moseley matchup.
This is the most exciting match of the night. I love that we're getting a Bill Moseley matchup. I didn't even realize that we had 2 Bill Mosleys until we started doing this, and I love that because I love him. So yeah, we've got a Bill Moseley matchup. We've got Baby Firefly and Otis in the semifinals or the finals versus Chop Top and Leatherface. This is a killer fight. This is our last fight of the night. Bryan, I gotta hear your thoughts on this. Who do you think is winning?
It seems like basically Rob Zombie modeled his whole career after Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I agree.
It's almost like they're the Walmart version of Chop Top and Leatherface or something.
The Wish.com.
It's almost like they're facing each other. They're mirror images of each other. It's gonna be tough. I gotta go Chop Top and Leatherface in this one. Got to.
How do you think they're gonna win?
With this chainsaw, he's gotta cut him up in half.
I'm gonna beat you with the chainsaw.
Firefly team, I know these guys work together in one movie. The other team have been on 3 movies, but they're more, I would even say they're missing a part without the Captain Spaulding as well. So it's like, how well do they get along together? Chopped Up and Leatherface have a better chemistry together. Because they did that radio station kill. I mean, when you introduce the other family members, that's where all the infighting happens. So Chop Top and Leatherface with the chainsaw. We've already discussed that on the different rounds. They're almost mirror images of each other, but Leatherface will not die. I think there is a supernatural element to him as well. So that probably puts a little bit of edge on him. But I would have to go with Chop Top and Leatherface. for the win. I didn't think this. I thought Billy and Stu or Michael and Corey are going to the finals, but Chop Top and Leatherface.
This is Brewster, everybody. So named from
Hey,
Fright
Brewster.
Night.
You're so cool, Brewster.
Yes. You're so cool, Brewster.
You're so cool, Brewster.
We love you.
That's why we named him that. So we can say that.
Oh yeah, Mosley versus Mosley too. You see, you called it. People
Danny,
wanted it.
who are you voting for?
All right, this one is really tough. I'm pretty torn down the middle on here. I'm going to give the slight edge to Chop Top and Leatherface. I think they're both very resilient. I think it's very impressive to survive being shot down by the police the way the Fireflies were. But like I said, Leatherface was impaled by a chainsaw. Like, that would take out your spine. Like, that doesn't even make sense physically. But the Toon Force is strong with him and Chop Top.
And remember, we're getting to a KO.
I think that, yes, I do. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're both KO'd at the end of their movies. At least in that one. I just think that it's insane. Like, I think that Chop Top, Bill Mosley's Firefly Otis is gonna shoot him in the head, but it's gonna bounce off that fucking cap, and they're gonna basically kind of take each other out. I do think that Baby, in a sense, would be able to manipulate Leatherface,
Yes.
but I don't think she could kill him. Like, I think she can manipulate him to an extent where, like, yeah, he'd be all about the horniness and whatnot, but he ain't gonna turn on his brother for her. And this is not about him, like, you know, okay, I'll sneak you out the back so my family doesn't kill you. This has to be, you can't, she wouldn't win that way. This has to be to the death, and she ain't gonna, once she tries to finally try to kill him, she's like, it will work for an extent. It will, like, throw him off guard. But when she goes into, like, you know, to stab him in the back, he's gonna, like, turn around and be like, oh, okay, that's how it is. And he's gonna chop her right down the middle with his chainsaw. Exactly. It'll work for a little while, but it won't kill him. So I have to give that slight edge to the Chainsaw team here. Like, the Saw is family, and I think that's where finally the Fireflies run out of places to hide. They're all gonna, like, get too close to that bug zapper that is Leatherface.
Guys, I gotta agree with both of you gentlemen. I think the Firefly team is really, really talented. They are fierce. They are scary. And honestly, I'm more afraid of them than I am of Chop Top and Leatherface. But Baby and Otis have never gone against anyone like Chop Top and Leatherface. Their biggest opponents have been law enforcement. These guys are a whole other league. They have a wild card factor to them that I think is too crazy even for the Fireflies. You know, they've seen Dr. Satan, but this is a whole other level. Now both teams are very devoted to one another.
Yeah.
Both teams are ride or die. So absolutely,
So
there's
close.
no infighting. It's an extremely close fight as far as I'm concerned. I do think Baby's going to try to manipulate them a little bit. And yeah, these boys are horny and they like ladies. But at the end of the day, they don't turn against their brother. And Otis firmly believes that he's basically the devil. But these guys are something else. It's like you said, they've got that Toon Force. And ultimately, that's where I'm giving the edge. Because I think this is a really, really close fight. So I'm voting for Chop Top and Leatherface.
Yeah. I just, it's very close. I do actually, like, when I tried to throw out that, like, Satan's, like, luchador mafia thing in Mexico, I actually do think Chop Top and Leatherface would kill them too. I have to throw that out there, like, because who would their opponents be able to survive that big stand where they walk off into the sunset at the end? Yeah, I do actually think Chop Top and Leatherface could do that. I think it would even be more gory and brutal. They wouldn't be as precise. They'd make a bigger mess and there'd be blood everywhere. But they would probably walk away in the sunset as well.
And here's the thing that, you know, I think these guys, I still think Chop Top can come back, even though he died at the end of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. They have this immortality, both teams do. But ultimately, the Firefly team really relies on a lot of bullets and stuff. You can come back from bullets. I don't know why, but movies seem to be like, yeah, it's bullets. You can come back. Getting sawed in half, not so much.
Yeah.
Like I said,
we've never seen that and had a character come back.
Like I said, I know it was technically a KO both rounds, and it is very impressive to survive the bullets that they go through in Devil's Rejects, but it's way more impressive to be impaled by a chainsaw and still be like the baddest motherfucker in your next movie. So Just have to say it's a slight more impressive feat.
Do you guys have anything else you want to add before I check in with the chat?
Fireflies actually got way farther than I expected.
I
So
agree. I
much
didn't think
further.
they'd do as well as they
This
did.
is not how I saw this ending when I took a quick glance of what, and I was doing some research,
Yeah.
just like looking at them. It's not really expected this to go, but when you start comparing them, and I'm really thinking about the scenarios and what would actually slow them down, what would actually make them get the win. Yeah, this is how we got here.
I know
Very impressed by both teams.
the Firefly people, baby and Otis being in the finals feels like the Jaguars getting to the Super Bowl. I just feel like, how'd we end up here? What?
Bryan, absolutely. We're gonna have a ghost face fight off here soon. I'll have to talk to you about that. 'Cause I
Oh,
think you're gonna enjoy
nice.
that a lot more.
Yes.
And anybody who voted for either team, I don't think they're wrong. I think, like I said, if they fought 100 times, there would be so many wins on both sides. I'm just giving the slight edge to the team Chainsaw here. I just think they just have a little extra something, a little more craziness. Like,
Je ne sais quoi.
I think they're more memorable,
a little
too.
more surreal, like to them. Like their movie is a little more surreal. Where I feel like
it's a nightmare.
The Rob Zombie movies they're a nightmare in their own right, but they're a little more realistic in a little bit, not a whole lot. But this Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 is like almost a cartoon that's live action and it's gory as fuck. So I just have to say it's a little more crazy, a little more out there.
Danny, would you do me a favor?
Can't really prepare for it.
And let the dogs outside while I read the chat. Thank you, my love.
Come on, dog.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna read the chat. That means it's your last chance to get your votes in. Bryan, did you have something else you wanted to say?
Oh yeah, I was like, Leatherface is just one of those Mount Rushmore almost guys. He's in the conversation, you know. Even people who aren't horror movie fans, they go, "Oh yeah, Leatherface, the guy with the chainsaw and stuff." He's so synonymous with horror movies and slashers.
He
and
paved
Chop
the
Top is
way.
yeah. And Chop Top is like you know, he finally found a partner in part 2, and even though part 2 was going like way more like a comedic approach and with the ladies and stuff like that, they're still such a formidable team. So I'm glad that I couldn't believe they got past Michael and Corey. They had a harder path to get to.
I thought Michael and Corey had this.
Yeah. I thought so too, because we did a bracket on Killjoy Jake's channel, and Halloween Ends almost won the whole thing. Floated all the way to the finals, even though a lot of people said they hated it. They floated it to the finals to be one of the best movies of the year. So I don't know. I thought there's enough fan and love for it, but I think maybe people are blinded for it. You made a good point last stream. I think Halloween Ends has got to age like wine. It's got to be better. And it's almost like Scream 3. I hated Scream 3 when it came out, but part 4, it sucks as a finisher to a trilogy. But after more movies come out, it's actually like, oh, it's not actually the end. It softens the blow a bit. So Chop Top and Leatherface, I think, and they're pretty much ahead right now in the poll. So unless people can make a convincing argument for the Firefly team, I guess.
Absolutely. I'm gonna check in with the chat, and then I'm calling the vote for our final fight of the night.
Sure.
Guns beat chainsaws any day. I disagree because I think you can survive a bullet wound, but no one survives getting bisected.
Hey, that's like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They're like guns versus swords. Like,
and chainsaws also can deflect bullets.
Yeah.
I do give the Fireflies like the long range like advantage, but that doesn't mean I think they would win more times than they would lose.
The Fireflies are savages, but the chainsaws are insane to the membrane, insane to the brain.
Saw is
Chainsaw Massacre for the win. Sandy Absolute, another one of our B Coven members, is B Movie Coven members is here. She says, "Sorry, I missed most of the show, but glad to have Cat out, y'all. I'm so glad you're here, and you can always catch the replay. It's just awesome to have you here in the gory hole." She also says, "I'm voting for Chop Top on Leatherface." Let's see. Heart Collector Fiend says, "Thank you for an amazing night, gory B movie, Danny, and don't forget Bryan Slasher and Suits. Do subscribe to his channel. It's awesome."
Yep. Thank you.
And Afro Whale says, "Fun show. Thank you all, and treat others with respect because they are someone as well. Take care, everyone." Absolutely, we're all about the respect here.
No, I don't think there's ever been a wrong answer on this. Like, it doesn't matter if you agree with me. The fact that you love these horror movies and you have a reason in your head why you think they'd win, Good answer.
And our final comment before I call the poll is Ben Grimm says Firefly survive a rain of bullets. But Ben Grimm is also part of the B Movie Coven over on Patreon. Thank you for being here. And I'm calling it. It is ultimately your winners are the Chainsaw Team.
Yay! Chop Top and Leatherface. I think people just want to see another movie with these two again because no other couple on this whole list has the chemistry they do. Though.
I actually am writing a screenplay. I don't know if it'll ever make it farther than that. I don't know if it'll ever get any farther than that. But I actually am making a direct sequel to part 2, the sequel, where it's got Chop Top, it's got this version of Leatherface, it's even got Stretch, who's now a news reporter, and it's called Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Houston, We Have a Problem, because Houston is also in Texas, and they actually steal a spaceship, a rocket, and they go into space because they're on the lam, and the cops are chasing them, and they're killing everybody, and they just get into NASA, and they just hijack a rocket to get away from the cops.
I love it.
I mean, I'm working on it. It's fun.
It took Jason 10 movies to go to space, and I think like Chainsaw's up there. Sure, let's go to space. Let's get weird with it.
We were on a random panel, and we were talking about it, and they're like, "Well, that franchise never went to space," and we're like, "Houston we have a problem." It just popped in my head, and so I kind of like took it from something an audience member said. And
guys, I want to hear before we call it a night what your thoughts are. I really thought Billy and Stu were going to make it to the finals. And I thought ultimately Corey and Michael would face off against them, and Corey and Michael would win the whole thing. So I'm really surprised, but I'm not mad at it. I love Chop Top and Leatherface, and I think they deserve their win.
At first glance, that is not who I thought would win this. I didn't really put a lot of thought into who would win this, but they were not my pick. They are the dark horse, and I'm bravo.
What do you think, Bryan?
Well, yeah, I thought Billy and Stu, and I go, fine, they're out, right? All right, my number 1 seed, because they wanted to spite me. I said the number 1 seed, and they went, no, you're not going to have your way here, guy. So whatever. And then I go, all right, fine. Michael and Corey are clearly going to go to the finals. Both of them eliminated in the first round. That is insane. I didn't even think the baby Firefly, notice I didn't vote for him in any round. But they kept winning.
They're persistent.
What about the last one? Let's face that. Remember versus Chucky and Tiffany, maybe?
Do you want to do one more? Like if they were doing against Chucky and Tiffany?
Bonus round.
All right, you got it, buddy. Bonus round.
I got 7 more minutes. But yeah, sure.
I don't got pictures for this one. Chop Top and Leatherface versus Chucky and Tiffany. Didn't prepare for this, but I'm going to put it in the chat. Bryan,
we originally had them in our extended bracket because we had to whittle down the teams just to this core 8. And then someone really late in the game said X and Howard. Damn, dude, how we forget those two? But Supernatural bracket would be sort of fun too. You got Chucky, Tiffany. We mentioned Pinhead and a Cinnabite. Whole bunch of that's a whole bracket onto its own. Supernatural.
Does Chucky get his army in this?
It's just Chucky and Tiffany, no army.
Okay, he doesn't get the whole army of Chuckies.
Oh yeah,
was Chucky and Tiffany versus Chop Top and Leather.
If I want a tag team partner, it would be Buff Chucky because that fool can punch people, and you're like, damn, I need that guy on my team.
Who's winning, Bryan? Who's winning?
With what? Oh, let me see. Oh, you put a team. It's close. Chainsaw Team, 75% of the vote.
Who do you think's winning?
Closer. Who would you?
I think because Chucky and Tiffany, because they, their relationship. A lot of movies. They break up, but they make up. Sort of
kind of on the outs right now, though.
Oh yeah, they are outside the outs. But I don't know, and I think just. It's a better movie. Bride of Chucky is an awesome movie.
I love it. It's one of my top.
I love that movie too. And I just love their chemistry together. They're funnier together. I gotta go with Chucky and Tiffany. Maybe I like it.
I still gotta stay with the Chainsaw Team on this one. As much as I do prefer Chucky and Tiffany's franchise, and I love the show and I'm enjoying it, and that's kind of why I'm looking forward to that Friday 13th TV show because. Chucky's proven that a good TV show can make it. It can work. I would be worried otherwise. But Chucky's already like paved the way that a good TV show can work. And I love Chucky and I love Tiffany. Both great characters, but they don't actually work very good as a team. They do actually turn on each other several times in both in movies and in the TV show. For the Saws family, the Saws strong. I don't think Tiffany's feminine wiles they're gonna confuse Leatherface, but they're not gonna work on him. They're gonna I chop up the doll that's being trying to be sexy with me. I don't get it. He's like, it's not gonna work. I don't think he's gonna like. If you've seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacres, they have all these doll pieces all over their farm. There's heads and there's arms and stuff, but they're not intact. That's what we're gonna see with Chucky and Tiffany. I hate to say it, as much as I love them.
Someone says Art the Clown and the Pale Girl. Yeah,
I think that's an awesome team.
The supernatural bracket is.
We need to do another bracket. I think.
Yeah, like what abilities? This was like a really grounded sort of tournament. You know,
this
is like,
and after Will, thank you. Actually, our whole house is like this. It's just one room.
Oh my god,
our whole house. Yes. They all have different themes. Like our living room is more classic horror, Universal monsters, but yeah, the whole house is horror themed.
Oh, cool.
Guys, I'm gonna agree with Bryan on this one. I think Chucky is really smart. He was a killer alive. He's been a killer for many years as a doll. They both think outside the box a lot. That's why I said Chucky would beat Megan. He's clever. He comes up with plans and he's almost always on top. Whereas Chop Top and Leather, they are a great team. They work better together for sure, but collectively their intelligence is less than what Tiffany has. Yeah. I think Chucky is going to figure it out. I also think Chop Top and Leather have never dealt with anybody aside from a regular human. They're going to be so confused by dolls that talk and move around. That's going to be where they're going to get their first hit in because these two have never seen anything like that. They're not very worldly. They've either been confined to a very remote farmhouse or underground in an abandoned amusement park. This is going to be very confusing for them. I think
Chucky could break him down psychologically because Leatherface is very sort of fragile. He's sort of like he could get talked down. Fragile. I think Chucky could crack that code.
He could, and honestly, even Chop Top like loves music and stuff, and Chucky is clever and very worldly, and I think he could spin anything and get Chop Top or Leatherface to believe it. He could tell them that he's like an evil god or something, and they'd be like, "Wait, what? You are?" They would be easily bought into Chucky's charisma, his intelligence, and Tiffany. Yeah, they do fight a lot, but when it comes down to it, she is ride or die with him. When it comes down to them versus other people, she will defend him against others. She will defend him against Chop Top and Leather. So, unpopular opinion, maybe, but I agree with you, Bryan. I'm gonna say Chucky and Tiffany.
The only thing I'm gonna say is like once Chucky stabs Leatherface, he's gonna be like, "What?" And then he's gonna go almost caveman on him. And I've seen kids slam and do that to Chucky. Leatherface is gonna break him doing that. Like it's just gonna be like stupid doll, and he's just gonna crush him. Not gonna be anything left.
All right, guys, I'm gonna call it after I read a couple of comments.
Razor close.
Sportswear's comment for Art the Con Apparel Girl. You know, that's something that Bryan and I talked about over on his talk. Guys, check that out if you can. It was a really fun stream. I think they're a great supernatural team, and we're definitely gonna have Bryan back, and we're gonna do maybe a supernatural.
Like, I love Terrifier too as well.
Yeah,
regardless of what happens.
Hopefully, you'll come back, Bryan. Hopefully, you had a good time.
Yeah.
Mary. May Ann says, "Tiff, look at me, I'm all rubber." Quote from one of my favorite movies.
That's a good one.
Diego Marquez says, "Hello, my name is Diego from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I am a fan. Also, I love that you have
Brazil
a poster for your profile picture. It's one of my favorite movies. Absolutely. Welcome.
I was about to add something. You guys are like, yeah, our whole house is like this. No, I'm not allowed to put horse shit anywhere in the house.
You know, Bryan, you're always welcome over here. And you're always
only in October, and then like November 1st, that's gotta come down. Like Christmas stuff at New Year's.
You've got a killer horror room right there, though, dude. I see Friday the 13th, Halloween Kills. You got some cool shit.
I would say more. Some rooms are more horror than others, but every room at least has something horror.
Even the bathroom. Yeah. Our bathroom has got switches that look like you're turning the crank on Frankenstein's monster and Monster Squad, and
every room has something horror in it.
Every room's horrific.
Cool. Do like a couple of shorts of each room. Like
We
a
will. You know,
cribs,
that's a good idea.
like a
Thank you
crib
for
sort
the
of
request.
video. That'd be dope.
We'll do a little video on it. Yes, May Ann. Yeah, I keep saying Mary Ann. I so apologize. Leatherface is an absolute nightmare. I think he demolished Tiffany and Chicky. I can't talk today. Chucky both. And Jason Evans says, thanks, Gory, Daniel, and Bryan for the awesome live stream. Much love to all. Have an awesome week. Thank you so much, Jason. I'm so glad that you're part of the Coven. Do stay tuned for updates. We've got another watch party coming soon. The next movie is PG Gorman.
Nice. Well, that movie.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, guys. I'm calling it, and it is Bryan. Tell us who the winner is.
All right. With wait, where'd it go down? All right, yeah. With all 16 votes, we got Chainsaw Team 62% to the Firefly Team 37. So Chainsaw
Chucky and
Team
Tiffany.
still defending champions.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same because the Chainsaw Team got 61% on this one, and Chucky Tiffany got 38. So I'm surprised. They did so well.
They might
but
be
I'm
in the
not mad at
chat.
it.
Some of them have a couple of the phones or something. They float. I'm surprised the Firefly people made it this far, but dang, dude, Chop Top and Leatherface. People just want this like couple to come very back because, like I said, I think they got the biggest chemistry out of this all these teams.
Well, that's one thing I always promise the Gory Hole here is your votes count. I trust you to not cheat and only vote once, and hopefully you honor that.
Yes.
But I respect your opinion. I respect your votes, and I respect your winner, which is Chop Top and Leatherface. And our last comment of the night from Connie Cleary. Thank you, Gory, Daniel, and Bryan. Love the lineup on Versus. I'm not sure what our next fight night's going to be. Got a lot of fun things in the works. I want to do more tag teams, which is an awesome idea from
Supernatural.
Bryan.
I mean, we're just going into it, dude.
Yeah.
We have a bunch of good teams
Bryan,
out there.
I do hope you'll come back. I've had so much fun hanging out with you.
Sure,
And,
yeah, it was very fun and nice meeting you, Danny, for the first time.
Nice meeting you too, Bryan.
Yeah.
And we're going to take probably a little break from fight nights. Maybe I'll add one in the middle of the week. But Sundays for the next month are going to be Scream nights. I'm kind of teaming up with my friend Craven Something Scary. So on Sundays, you'll find a live stream each week about one of the Scream movies. Got something special planned for next week when we talk about Scream. We're going to do Scream 2 the week after that. Bryan will be back for Scream 5. We're going to do all the movies leading up to Scream 6. And then we're going to talk about Scream 6. And then on Craven's channel, you can see watch parties where we watch all the movies together. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
What do you guys have coming up on your channels?
We'll review something on Tuesday on my channel. To be announced, but we'll have a horror movie to review.
Horror Addicts TV?
Yeah, on Horror Addicts TV.
And Bryan, what you got going on?
Okay, yeah, let me get some plugs. Right now, well, check out. I put Infinity Pool. I got a kill count for
I
that.
saw that.
That one was cool. I liked it. It didn't perform as well. I'm still contemplating to do Fear because Fear came out wide, and I still haven't
seen
seen
either
it.
one. We live in a small town, but was it good?
No, I didn't see it yet.
Oh, you didn't see it? Have
So
you seen
hopefully I
Pool,
see
though?
it, make a video, but then knock at the cabins like coming up on
Like
Friday.
next week, dude.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be covering that stuff, kill counts and all that, and I think that's it for so far. And Scream 6 is gonna be a big kill count as well. So I'm doing a bunch of kill counts on new stuff. Maybe throw in some like extending cuts with a whole bunch of more gore and stuff in there, but that gets like tricky at times. But yeah, so definitely come back, check out those videos coming out soon.
I'm excited for it. I'm a big fan of your channel. Awesome content.
Oh,
and again, guys, you're going to find his link in the description below. Absolutely check it out. You will not be disappointed. And Horror Addicts TV, of course. I really want to see Infinity Pool.
Go see it. Yeah. Is that in your town? See,
No.
I didn't have Fear in my closest theater, but I had Infinity Pool.
Is it good, though?
Yeah, I love Infinity Pool. It was dope.
I want to see it.
I've heard a lot of
Goth is naked the whole movie almost.
I want to see Skimmering too. We live in a really small town in the mountains. I mean, basically, where we live is a.
Oh, you didn't see Skimmering too? You don't need to see
We don't get a whole lot here.
I want to see.
It's coming to Shudder on the 2nd, like in 3-4 days.
It's going to be on Shudder soon, so we'll absolutely check it out. And for new release, our thoughts on new release movies, you can always check out Horror Addicts TV. On Tuesdays, we review new release films. You can always catch me Sundays here on Gory V Movie. And I keep saying it, but it is happening, guys. I got some videos coming soon. Gonna get back into some video content. So, yeah, lots of cool stuff happening in Slasher and Suits, Horror Addicts TV, and right here on Gory B Movie. Thank you guys all in the chat. I've had so much fun hanging out with you guys. Afro Whale, and nice to meet Diego here, Sandy Absolute, and Jason, Wayne Turner, all the regulars, Torchbearer. You guys are awesome. You guys make the Gory Hole extra special. So hope to see you again next week. And until we meet again, blessed be.